to bring it up. Makes me laugh. And B, sitting at the dinner table last night, Susan and I are having a little food out, and Michael comes through the door. He comes home from practice, and usually he comes home from practice. He's kind of going, "How's my good? Anything good happens?" No, we're getting a little bit of that. Yeah, right. A lot of us, right? You should turn your microphone on. That will help. No, try to get your red light's not on yet. Why is he on? Is he not on? Because I'm not getting him in my headset.
This is a major sabotage.
Yeah. Well, are you plugged in? What's going? There you go. That helps. See, this is now your red light's on. Now you're good to go. Hi,
Somebody disconnected us.
How you doing?
I think we know who disconnected it.
Who disconnected it?
It's MT, doesn't he usually? Because he puts his other stuff in.
No,
maybe someone sabotaged.
Can't be
I don't
Michael.
know. I don't know. But nice
We're
to
back.
see you, Al.
Yeah,
Nice to
yeah.
see that your red light
I
is
also
on
come home and don't say much.
There you go. There you go. So he comes in, and I'm trying to find, you're trying to find a way to engage. You're trying to find a way to get him going again. And I said to him, hey, Mike.
Great news.
You know that you were the topic of conversation on my show today. He goes, huh? I said, yeah, the debate about Pandora and Apple Music. Al, it was like I had insulted him. He got going on, I hope you said, "Oh, stupid Pandora," and he did the whole thing all over again. Like, he got so fired up for a second time because the first time he'd done it.
I think we accomplished this much. Pandora's not in the conversation. It's
shifted.
Spotify versus Apple. That's really the conversation. I'm in the minor leagues. That's where Pandora is. I am underplaying how much I use YouTube, because I do probably use YouTube more than anything else. But I don't think Panda's much in the conversation. And, I was looking yesterday. You could look on just your monthly purchases that you have. $4.99 a month. It's not going anywhere. If I could pay annual just to kind of up front, I would do
off. Yeah, it's $20 a month, but if you buy it ahead of time, we'll give you the whole year minus 20 extra bucks, right?
Yeah, Michael had a
good
day
up,
yesterday.
Al. He was so fired up, like it had happened all over again. And Susan did the whole Sliwa thing. She's like, I like Pandora. Like, she wasn't even engaging. Like, she's just like, I like what I like. I don't care what you think about this.
I don't know if it's a fight she wants to get into. I don't think she's passionate enough to fight that fight. And I felt like that was a lot of yesterday. Some people were very passionate about it, others not as passionate.
And Mike goes, it's like just listening to the radio. And Susan said, I like listening to the radio. It was so good because it was
Susan's answers.
It was exactly the conversation we were having in here, only Michael is named Emily and Susan is named Sliwa.
I thought of more points over the past 24 hours.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can just picture her like putting
I have
together
something in my vision too.
What's the thing? A PowerPoint and a slideshow and all of these different things to try to convince you of your wrongness.
I can see her trying to sleep, just kind of tossing and churning left and right.
Would that be scary at all when you showed up and
Not
saw
at
that
all.
on your front door? A mountain lion just chilling by your front door?
Not at all.
How big that thing is. Sorry.
P22?
At least it's far from here, right?
Yeah, a good 10-minute walk.
Gosh.
So, okay. So, two things. Yesterday, my older sister texted me. She listens to the show all the time. And so she was
Claire?
like... Yeah, Claire.
Hi,
We
Claire.
all met at the Mandy's. And she's like, haha, it was a great show. Love it. And I was like, you can shut up because you use Apple Music, Claire. And I was like, yeah, you can't talk anymore. But my point, what I was thinking about is, so my intake of Spotify a lot in the morning is I have they generate this thing called the Daily Drive where it's like a little bit of news, then a little bit of music, like news podcast, then some music, then a section of a podcast, and then some music. So that's why I like Spotify, is that it has both of these things all together. I can just go all the way and do this, and that's how I consume it.
If you want the news,
time.
why don't you just turn on the TV?
I'm driving, Taylor, or I'm like doing a bunch of stuff
Curated
around.
list, Taylor. Are you not even listening?
Taylor, why don't you listen?
Dang it.
Wait, hold on. I have my old pad.
I missed the bulletin,
What are you? You're not uninformed. You're not
Unhinged.
belligerent.
Unhinged.
You're an
Unhinged,
unhinged,
knows
know
nothing about
nothing.
music.
Unhinged, know nothing. You should
Damn
stay
it,
out of
Taylor.
this.
But I'm informed. I make my breakfast. I'm doing all this good stuff. I'm like just listening to my podcast and my music, and it's perfectly curated to me, and I love it. And that's why I like Spotify. But I still.
I take one thing of what you just said right there that was the most important. She said something about breakfast. Do you guys eat breakfast? Do you eat breakfast? Like every morning, do you eat breakfast? I never eat breakfast.
Once or twice a week. Not often.
What?
This morning I had a real breakfast.
What'd you have?
made a turkey, eggs, cheese, just a sandwich, just like a full sandwich, which I never do.
What was the inspiration? You just hungry?
I was hungry. That was it. That was literally the inspiration.
It's the most important meal of the day, guys.
Usually when I have a cup of coffee, I'm like, I'm good.
It's an appetite suppressant.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need anything. I did it before my coffee, and I don't even know why the hell I
bet it was
wanted
great too.
What? I was just thinking to myself,
How'd you do those eggs, Al? Come on, let's take me through it. Like, are we toasting the bread? What kind of bread are we? How are we?
I did
preparing
that.
the eggs?
What is that? That Dave's. You know what I'm talking
Dave's
about?
Killer Bread.
Yeah, Dave's Killer Bread.
Okay, did that
Which
bread.
version of that? Was it the green wrapper or the yellow or the red wrapper?
Green
purple.
wrapper.
Green wrapper's the correct choice.
Green
Keep
wrapper.
going.
Wait, green wrapper is the. It's got like the seeds and all that.
It's
stuff.
really good.
Okay, so that's I did the green wrapper.
Toasted?
Definitely toasted.
Okay, sure, good.
You have a breakfast sandwich. You got to get it toasted.
Couldn't agree
Maybe
more.
I toasted a little bit too much.
That's okay. Better that than not enough.
I agree.
Yes.
Right? Like
Yeah.
if it's going to be one or the other, let's have it a little more toasted than under toasted. What was the other? Oh, how do you make the eggs?
Yeah.
I'm a over easy guy.
So you get a little runny yolk.
Just a little bit of runny.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
what I would prefer.
And then you dip it in it after it breaks open.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, when you're eating it and the yolk is coming down, maybe I take a little corner of that bread real quick and just get a little
I know you're
deep
a hot
dive
sauce
into
guy,
that.
so I know that was on there.
Did not do hot sauce.
What?
I don't know what it is, and this could just be because it's early in the morning. I don't know. You could say, well, you have a breakfast burrito, you're going to throw hot sauce on there.
Right.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was good. I didn't need the hot sauce. Let's put it that way.
All
Didn't
right.
need the hot
And you
sauce.
said turkey, like sliced turkey, like deli turkey?
Deli turkey, sliced turkey, kind of put it on the pan, let it crisp up a little
Get
bit.
it a little caramelized.
Yes.
Sure. Just enough to give you
Just
a
enough.
little bit of a texture, a little bit of that sweet bite. Yeah.
I don't know what you do with stacking everything.
Cheese?
Well, cheese. Now, you have a couple different ways that you could do the cheese. I did a cheddar cheese, by the way.
Great.
There's a couple different ways you can do the cheese.
I don't dislike one thing about this sandwich.
Good sandwich. It was a good sandwich. You could do the cheese. You can either right off the bread coming out of the toaster, you can go cheese right out the gate, egg on top of it.
Melts it perfect.
It's going to melt it. Okay?
Melts it perfect.
What you can't do is have the cheese on the top.
No,
If you
not
try
enough
going
heat.
cheese, not enough heat.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
So that was the. But she said breakfast in my head. I'm
Quick
like,
little hack.
No
if
idea
in,
why I had
in
breakfast.
in the event that you do make the stacking error and you don't put the cheese where it's supposed to go,
Put it back on the pan.
well, you can do that, or just in a wet paper towel, microwave it for 10 seconds, and the whole thing just gets. The bread still stays nice and toasty and warm and crispy, but the cheese melts just a little bit, but it doesn't cook the egg any more than it needs to be cooked. It's a nice little fix if you don't put it in the right order.
I have, when I eat eggs, and I'm not kidding when I say this, 80% of the times I eat eggs, it'll probably be at night.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, sure. It's an egg. No one's ever eaten an egg and go, well, that was a bad choice.
It's not the like typical place to have it, but it's not the end of the world. It's more of just like it's a lazy thing to make.
It's
you
an
know,
easy thing to make.
easy
It's a
to
very lazy. Lazy is a good way to
but it's,
describe it.
But it also is more than like fat. It's a better choice than a lot of other things.
Yeah.
It's a healthy choice.
And it's warm, so you feel like you had like a real meal.
You
Very satisfying.
You couldn't have made two of those, wrapped one in a little foil, and walked it on in here, cut it into a few bites, and shared with the class.
Guy brought turkey chili in last week, and I can't get him one egg sandwich.
So I have
Sounds
a story
good.
about my breakfast. So I, sometimes I'll make my breakfast at home, but then sometimes if I'm running behind, I'll go to like stop through a drive-through. So I went through the Dunkin' drive-through today, and I got a coffee because I had like a deal, like free coffee if you order a sandwich.
BOGO?
Whatever. So go through, I mobile order it, so gonna go quick through the drive-through. And then they're like, oh, actually, like, sorry, your sandwich is taking more time. You have to pull through, and you have to wait in the parking spot. And I'm just like,
You hate that.
I could
hate
see
it.
her being very
I'm like,
frustrated.
what, are we low on sourdough?
Okay,
bread?
question. How, when you mobile order,
Yeah.
what do you give yourself, like 10 minutes?
So I mobile order, like, before I leave the house, like, right when I'm putting my shoes. So that's going to be, and then the Dunkin' is very close to where I live. So, yeah, it takes about 10 minutes to get there. So that's plenty of time. 10 minutes is more than enough time, but usually they don't trigger until you're actually in line. So say, oh, hey, this is an order for Emily, and they're like, yeah, sure, pull ahead. But, like, then we pull through, and I'm not the only person that had to get my food out of the drive-thru. It was me and two other cars that had to wait in the parking spot.
When they say, hey, can you wait in the parking spot? Kind of walk me through. Are you letting them know you're frustrated? Is there like a sigh?
course
Is there like no? Are you like
yes, there is.
No,
Yes,
no,
there
I'm not
is.
Karening on them. I'm just like, oh, yeah, no worries.
Not Karening. I don't think that you're going to go like nuclear, but
not that?
I
No,
think-
like
I
there's a
think when you-
facial expression. I'm a facial expression
think this
guy.
is
Give
one
off
of those.
auras, you know.
Yeah. That's all.
I think it's
That kind of says it all.
I do that once my window is up, and then once I've pulled forward. I don't want to, again, I've been in their position. I've been a drive-through worker, and I've also had to do the same thing, and so I don't try to be that person going through, but I do that after I'm out of face
I
shot.
don't think she's giving us the whole story.
It's like, listen, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like somebody in front of you, and they don't turn left quick enough, and then you can't go, and there's are you kidding me?
yeah, well,
that is the worst.
Okay, I'm just using that as an example. Not that you're going to say, are you kidding me to them, but isn't there like well, that's why I mobile ordered. Isn't that the whole reason why I did
That's
this?
also yes. That's why you mobile order, so they have everything ready, and I make it simpler for them so they don't have to interact with me as much, because I know like
because you're coming in hot.
I am coming in hot when I'm ready to get my breakfast. Also, I was trying to turn onto the freeway today, and I almost got hit by a car because someone ran a red light left. So I was going left, and they were coming left too, and they ran a red light, and I laid on my horn for them because mine was green.
One of the
I was
few
just like,
times
Jesus
I'm
Christ,
honking
guys.
at somebody. Like if you nearly kill me, then you're going to get a little.
And then they
honk.
flipped me off. And I'm like,
jeez,
"It's
now I
not-
can't do that.
I'm
Now
not
that's
the
when you
one
go.
in
All right,
fault
I'm
here."
out of here. This is that guy's man, woman. Could you tell?
It was a woman.
Okay, that lady is having a bad day, and I'm just going to stay out of this because if she's running red lights and nearly smashing into me and giving me the finger,
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
just
thing.
going to keep this one moving. That's a no-win situation.
Listen, we all make mistakes on the road. All right, it happens, or maybe we're in a hurry. But can't we just admit when we're wrong? Just the quick little, hey, that's my bad. That one's on me. The fact that she's flipping you off, that I don't understand. I would lose it. Like what you
Bad
just
day.
said about you don't want nothing to do with it.
Bad day.
I want more to do with it.
It was a hectic morning.
I'll
for
come.
Emily.
I'll speak at your funeral. I'll make
Yeah.
sure that I say.
I love how worried you are on the road.
Do you never watch the news?
Well, if you
People
only watch,
shoot each other
I
over
get
this
that.
stuff.
But if you only watch the news, then that's the only thing you think that happens.
Well, it just happens more than infrequently, and people are armed and
don't wanna
they're
take the
aggressive,
chance.
and I just would rather not.
Not take the chance.
Over somebody cutting me off, I don't think so. 805 Raider, breakfast sandwich talk is prime radio, triple fire emoji. Sliwa with the personal foul, however, not using hot sauce. Come on, Slee.
Just didn't, sometimes it's supposed to be there, other times it just wasn't supposed to be there this morning. We just said real quick about the car. Still haven't called me.
It's on my list. I got questions. It's on my pad.
They haven't called me as if I never dropped my
You should
car
probably
off there
buy
2 weeks
You should
ago.
probably buy a new car. I'm just saying that it's probably going to be quicker and cheaper for you to go buy a new car. All right, a little bit of breaking Laker news that we'll get to coming up next. Don't forget, we're giving away tickets to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. It's happening on the 17th between the Fresno State Bulldogs and the Washington State Cougs. They'll probably coug it like they always do. Lakers lose last night, and they've got one hand tied behind their back going into tonight. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, as the holidays approach, many businesses are hiring for festive jobs like turkey catcher and reindeer wrangler. These are all actual jobs on ZipRecruiter. If ZipRecruiter can fill these roles, what roles can't they fill? ZipRecruiter uses its powerful technology to find and match the right candidates up with your job.
During this holiday season, ESPNLA and Subaru are partnering with the Folds of Honor Foundation for our inaugural Long Drive-a-thon event. Proceeds raised will provide scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled military and first responders. Our Long Drive-a-thon event is taking place on Friday, December 9th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. If you'd like to participate and support the Folds of Honor, go to blackgoldgolf.com. That's blackgoldgolf.com. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
He's going to come in today. And
Perfect.
we'll talk about Baker Mayfield. By the way, how weird is that? Baker Mayfield, Rams quarterback. This is how sideways this season has gone for the Rams, that they're the defending Super Bowl champions, and Baker Mayfield is their new quarterback. What the hell happened?
I called it before the season started. I said 3-9, and Mayfield will be your starter.
Can I add? And I swear to you, Al,
That sounds pretty funny.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either Baker Mayfield or the Rams. I'm excited to see it. That's how weird
I'm
it's
with
been.
you.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see
something a little
Baker
bit different.
Mayfield. Think we'll see him tomorrow? I'm going to
a
say
good
yes.
question.
I don't know if it's a great
Can you
idea.
that quick?
There seems to be some speculation that look. I mean, what were they running out there already? What's that? I think that's what it
Yeah,
is,
throw him out there.
right?
Throw him out there, but have him not know any of the plays.
Well, okay. There's
Like, kind of have him draw. You know when you used to play in the backyard and you have your wide receiver facing you as quarterback, and you say, okay, you're going up. Listen, Jimmy, listen. Up, out, and then back in.
around the lemon tree. I'm going to hit you by the barbecue. Right? It's about what it is along the way.
So, did you guys see what the Rams tweeted out yesterday? So
About the Baker, the month of May, and the field.
Right, I was
It
going to say,
great.
so it was a great little moment of Twitter for the Rams. So it says, just tweeting out some completely random images we found, that it's a Baker, and then May, and then Field. I was like,
Pretty good.
At least they're trying to kick it around out there, Rams Twitter.
So we will start the pregame show tomorrow at 3:30. If you're going to the game, come on by and say what's up. And then after the game, you can join myself and Kirk Morrison at Hollywood Park Casino for the Rams postgame show. That's tomorrow night. We'll be broadcasting live from the Rays Lounge. Stop by and pick up a Teza nutrient pouch. Get more focus and energy in your daily life with Teza nutrient pouches. Visit TezaEnergy.com and make your mouth happy. Use the code ESPNLA25 for 25% off of your first purchase. So we will be doing pre, half, and post tomorrow. You did pre, half, and post last night. You've got pre, half, and post tonight. You're like in mile number 14 of the marathon. You're a little past halfway, but you still got a long way to go. You can't look up. You just got to keep running.
Are we talking just like the week or the season?
No. Just the week. Just these last couple of days.
Yeah, the week is, that's good. Mile 14.
Yeah.
Mile 14.
You
stopped feeling your legs. You don't feel your legs anymore.
There's more behind you than ahead of you, but you still got a long way to go.
Still got a long way to go.
Is that about what it feels like?
And we did get an update from the Lakers. They sent out their status report. So LeBron and AD out tonight. So AD has got the flu-like symptoms. So that's coming back from yesterday. Only played 8 minutes yesterday.
Yep.
And then Bron, left ankle soreness. He's out. Wendy Gabriel already out as well.
Maybe Patrick Beverly too, according to Trudell. Trudell just tweeted that Patrick Beverly is doubtful with a right knee soreness.
Can I tell you something? I thought this was going to be a tough 2-game stretch just because it's back-to-back. It's two good teams.
In the middle of the trip, too.
In the middle of the trip, two good teams in the, obviously in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland being the better one of the two. I'm kind of okay with what they're doing for today. And I don't think it would have been too much of a shock, even if AD played yesterday, that Bron sits a back-to-back. I think AD's only played one back-to-back up to this, or at this point of the season. But it does make me think that they're trying to kind of eye that game against the Philadelphia 76ers on Friday of, hey, can we go get one more game before we get to that Pistons matchup? Pistons will be the final one of the road trip. And by the way, if they do, look, they lose tonight against the Raptors, but they go beat Philly and they go beat the Pistons, you're 4-2 on this road trip. If you just beat the Pistons, you're 3-3. I guess you just take that before the season or before this road trip started.
It's funny listening to you say that. The part that I kind of got stuck on it as you said it, that even if AD and LeBron James were healthy on the second half of a back-to-back, you wonder if they don't give them some time off. They haven't played in a lot of back-to-backs this season, and they're not the only ones that do that. A lot of teams in back-to-back nights will give guys, especially older, more veteran players, some time
Warriors
off in the
do it a
second half.
ton. Obviously, the Clippers.
The Spurs kind of made an art out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did it for years and years. I know that the idea of, what would make the regular season more interesting would be if you had fewer games, right? Because they're more meaningful, et cetera, et cetera. the argument that we were talking about with all these guys is, what if you're one time the Lakers are coming through Toronto tonight, no AD, no LeBron James. It's like, well, great. What I'm paying to see, Austin Reeves. That's not what I signed up for. I want something a little different than that. What if they abolish the back-to-back? Now, what it means is the season actually gets longer by calendar, right? You have the same amount of games, but if you just said, listen, you're never going to have to play 2 nights in a row to try to avoid some of this, is that something you'd sign up for?
Here's the problem. I think no matter what you do, let's say there's no back-to-backs. Let's say they even shorten the season. Let's say they go from 82 games to 70. Trav, I don't know how much of it's going to change. I think teams are going to still try to take advantage of it. I think still strategically they're going to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I think they've kind of made it clear they really, really care about the fans. They really want them out there. They're going to pay attention to their team more than they're going to pay attention to the Toronto Raptors or the Charlotte Hornets or some of those other games. I don't think it's going to change anything. I really don't. And you use the Spurs as an example. That is a prime example, and everybody did kind of start follow suit.
The problem is there's no way to police it.
There's
no
I
way
have
to
a sore ankle.
Right. There's no way to enforce no, you don't.
Not.
You were supposed to play tonight. What do you mean I'm supposed to? My ankle hurts. I can't play tonight.
Lower back tightness.
Right.
How do you assess that?
You can't.
You don't.
And you can't, you put guys on polygraph before every game and, shine a bright light into their eyes and say, are you really sick? Do you really have a bad ankle? I don't know if there's way to do it, but because it is, I get it. I understand. I want my team to win championships. If that means that the fans in Cleveland don't get to see the best visiting players, what do I care? These guys are going to play in L.A. Yeah. I'm looking at it completely selfishly. But there really is no way around it.
No, there isn't.
It's unfortunate. They lose last night. You asked something interesting this morning. Had the Lakers lost last night the way that they lost last night, where Anthony Davis isn't feeling well and, Donovan Mitchell tears him up and has a big night, it would have been like, oh, boy, here we go again. This is, they're back to what they're – but because they had the win in Milwaukee, because they had the win in Washington, because they've been playing a lot better, because Anthony Davis has been a lot better, it's almost like, look, stuff like this happens in the NBA. And we're starting to get back to that, hey, let's look at a little bit wider. Let's look a little bit big picture as opposed to this is just the next stop on a terrible season.
So let me ask you this. If a month ago Lakers lost to the Toronto Raptors and, like I said, let's just use Anthony Davis as an example. He can't go. I think your perception about the Lakers losing in Cleveland a month ago is different than them losing last night in Cleveland. And I don't know if it's changed to this much. Do you feel like you kind of have an idea of what the Lakers are?
No, I don't.
Like not at all? Or
I wouldn't say not at all, but I still need a lot more information on what this team is before I can say they're terrible, they're okay, or actually they might be halfway decent.
Okay.
I'm still waiting.
I'll ask you this question. Do you think they're a competitive team, meaning that any given game, there's a good chance that they're going to be in the mix?
So, I want to answer your question as sincerely as I can.
And if you don't know, you don't know.
But no, it's not that I don't know. I think it depends on what you mean. Because, I think they showed that they can play with – the Milwaukee game demonstrated that them at their best is good enough to hang or beat with anybody else, at least for a night. But we've also seen enough where they could lose to anybody on any given night and look terrible doing it. So putting those two things, do I think that they can hang? Yeah, occasionally. Do I think that they're in it? No, not yet. I'm going to need to see a lot more than a really cool week before it's like, you know what? That's more normal than the first 2 weeks of the season.
If I said this is going to be the team all the way throughout, this is the Lakers. They're not going to make a trade. They're not going to make a move. Are they a 40-win team? This is the team. This is, let's just say that what you've seen so far is what you kind of have to take from it. They're a few games below 500.
10-13.
40-win team?
Right around there. Maybe slightly less than that, but right around there. Yeah, because I don't think we've seen what they truly are yet this season. And they're not as bad as the team that started 2-10. They're not.
Agreed.
They're also not the team we've seen for the last 2 weeks.
Agreed.
They're not that. So somewhere in the middle of that is a team that's a little under 500, right? So if it's neither of those things, 40 wins is a little under 500.
Yeah.
I think they're somewhere between 35 and 40. Maybe if they get hot, it's 42 or 43. Yeah, I think that's about where they are, but I don't know yet.
That stretch, and this is why, I had such curiosity about the month of December. You had a really tough schedule in the beginning when you're pretty much a new team. Then you went through a stretch where you're playing a lot of bad teams that are missing key players, and you took advantage of it. I want to see a stretch where you have your guys, they have their guys, and give me a 2-3 week sample size, and they're decent teams. It's not just...
The problem is I don't know if you're going to be able to say we have our guys every game for a couple of weeks in a row. We're seeing it right now, right? That here you are in the second part of a back-to-back.
Yeah, you could be right.
80 sick. LeBron's got what's LeBron? LeBron's an ankle thing.
Left ankle soreness.
So because if this is what it is, play a couple of games, miss a game. Play 3 games, miss. If this is what it is, then they're
always
they're a
chasing their tail
38
then.
win team. That's what they are. Because without these guys, tonight becomes. I won't never say never, but it's extremely unlikely that they win tonight's game.
I definitely have more confidence, and I think that's natural, right? Just what they've done these last couple of weeks. But I definitely feel like, oh no, they're a decent team. They're a decent team. They're a team that could hang with anybody on a night-in, night-out basis. I think the games you're talking about where they could also lose to bad teams, I think you're going to get less and less of that. They've actually beat the bad teams for the most part, right? It's the good teams that they were struggling with, and then they go get that one against Milwaukee, and you kind of told yourself, well, maybe they can hang with some good teams. We'll see what happens in the month of December.
All right, Dave Roberts, winter meetings. Players are moving. I'm surprised we've gotten a half hour into the show today, Slee, and you haven't decided that you want to go at John Heyman yet, but I'm assuming that's coming before too long. Dave
Rosenthal
talking
texted him.
Dave talking about last season and which team wanted it more. You're going to have to deal with a very salty Travis here in a few minutes. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. DeMarco Farr usually hangs out with us for a segment on Thursdays, but the Rams have a game tomorrow. We'll all be out at SoFi Stadium for the Rams and the Raiders tomorrow. So DeMarco is joining us today. DeMarco, good morning. How you feeling?
Come tomorrow as well. Just come on.
What, before the game? Or
Yeah.
I'll stop by. Why not?
Pre-game action.
Yeah. Maybe
By the
the
way,
safe haven.
I'm getting ready to go to the restroom. So I just come out the back door, and I'm walking, and I just hear somebody singing over by the elevators. And I'm like, who is singing? And in a zone, just in a complete zone. I look, there's DeMarco just
right.
coming out the elevator.
What were you singing?
Rocking out. You might like this. Man in the Box by Allison Chains.
Allison Chains.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
By the way, that video where they have the guy's eyes sewn shut is
Yes.
deeply upsetting. I don't like that at all.
Took me years to figure out what they were talking about. I just like the guitar lick.
Like a rock concert out there.
Speaking of music, go ahead and weigh in on this. The Trav and Slee show for the last couple of days has been a very contested environment among streaming platforms. How do you listen to your music?
Wait, how did you guys get to fighting about streaming platforms?
Because
Emily swung at me, and I
it's fight
ducked
over
just in
everything.
time. I
Okay.
ducked just in time.
My wife and son got into this bizarre argument over streaming platforms, and then Emily picked up the torch and went from there. So before we get into it, when you're streaming your music, what platform do you use?
Spotify.
Hey, I knew I liked you, DeMarco.
Am I cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Taylor is an Apple Music guy, but he's a know-nothing, what are you, unhinged maniac.
Unhinged.
Yeah, so he's on the other side
Okay.
there. And I don't really care at all. I just want people to argue with each other.
You said you get in your car and something comes on. Did you ever?
I never.
Something
White
comes
noise.
up.
That was my
swear
favorite
to
part
you.
of yesterday. You're like, I just get in my car and something is on. I don't know what it is. It could be the radio of the car next to him. He has no idea.
I had a conversation with my dad yesterday. It took most of the way home, and then when we were done, I hung up, and that was it.
Silence.
Silence.
Wow.
It was
Do you ever drive in
terrific.
silence?
Rarely. No. Yeah.
Because you're not a psychopath.
Sometimes.
He drives to Frisco in silence.
I drove
Just-
back from Phoenix to L.A. in silence, and they thought I was a lunatic.
Okay, what we don't know is what his home life is like. He may be getting yelled at a lot. See? He may enjoy the silence.
Not yelled at. There's a lot of conversations. in
People
my
talk
house.
to you a lot.
Yes.
See? People talk
He
to him a
listens
whole
to
lot.
Locked On Rams on repeat. You go back to the beginning of the
It's a good
season.
show.
You go back.
That's a long way, though.
Trav, you
Wow.
go back to the beginning of the season, you just keep playing it.
Exactly right. I start with the Super Bowl episode. We're going to see Baker Mayfield tomorrow, DeMarco. Could we see him
Wow.
play quarterback tomorrow? That's fast, right?
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn fast. But, I mean, look, if you can get Bryce Perkins ready for Kansas City, you can get Baker Mayfield ready. I mean, he's a better quarterback than the two you have. So, former failed face of the franchise.
Number one pick.
Yeah, he can play, I mean, in the right system.
Sure.
Kind of like Perkins and Wolford. In the right system, he can play. So, I bet they're easily transferable, the three of them. So, maybe you can get him ready.
I was telling Al, and I think this is true, but I can't. You would know better than I would. Is there like a basic rudimentary language that you can say, call this play that you've been running since high school, college, every NFL team runs it, just a very basic thing that you say, call this play, and everybody understands what it is?
There's a big conversation. It was Eric Coryell versus Bill Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
Same offense, different terminology.
Okay.
I think Coryell used numbers, and Walsh used words, like Gruden. So the play is like 1,000 words long.
XY spider banana stuff.
H balloon, yada yada.
Yeah.
And Coryell, same play, 1, 2, 5, 6, something. It's easier for guys to remember. So for me, defensive tackle, Aaron Donald, right? Either I'm going to hit the B gap or the A gap.
Right.
If I'm hitting the A gap, it's been called a tag, a spike, a fire. It's the same thing, but it's just called different. So it just depends on what your offense is and what he's coming from. This, what we're calling here, is what you guys used to call that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's how you break them down, try to figure out a common knowledge. So yes and no to answer your question.
Mark, what's the goal of the rest of the season? What are they hoping they accomplish? But I get to win, but let's be realistic. I don't know how many W's there are there. Yes, you want to be competitive, but when you're a team that you don't think is obviously going to make the playoffs, what are some of the goals? How much are you looking to next season?
Number one, to win. You want to win the game. You want to feel good about yourselves going into next week. It's rough, man. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the NBA or
I
baseball.
haven't won in 2 months.
The NBA or
No,
Rams?
the
They haven't
Rams.
Oh, I
won
don't know
in
what it's
2
like
months.
in the
Yes,
NBA
yes.
or baseball,
6
but
weeks.
I mean, losses
Or
are
6
hard
games.
in the NFL because you got to go a week before you play again, and it sucks. Everything stinks. You know, you don't want to go outside. So you're trying to get that W. Number 2, player evaluation. You're trying to figure out what you have, who you're going to keep. You start looking at player versus money. You know how this goes in the business. Can I get similar production out of this guy that's 90% cheaper than that guy? You start making these decisions right now. So that's why certain guys aren't in the game anymore.
I want to go back to the winning part of it because, like you said, they've lost 6 in a row. They came out of the bye at 3-3 and right in the thick of things. Right, they were very much in it, and now they've had 6 losses in a row. And look, Bobby Wagner's out there, Jalen Ramsey's out there. There's a lot of starters that are still going out there and trying to win these games that
Playing
are not
tough, too.
necessarily getting evaluated for future spots. Right, that you know that they're going to be a part of what you do. How much of the Mayfield acquisition is simply just to find a way to win another game or 2 or 3?
I don't think you could pass him up. I mean, there's Baker Mayfield's on the waiver wire. Take him. Beggars can't be choosers. You know what I'm saying? So, I think he's better than what you have. So you make that move. But, I mean, look, the goal is still to win. Bobby Wagner, emotional. You got to do what you got to do. We'll see what happens down the road, but, the main mission for guys like him is to continue their legacy. No matter what's going on around you, you're still going to continue your great play. That's what you have to do. But when they say we're going to figure out who loves the game of football, this is what they mean. Can you show up to work enthusiastically? Can you practice with intensity? Can you not let this losing swoon get you down? This is all a part of the evaluation process going into 2023. But right now, I don't want to go to Jalen Ramsey and tell him we're not trying to win. I don't want to go to Bobby Wagner and say, you know what, I don't really care if we win or lose today. No, your goal, always, right now, no matter what, 15-1, 1-16, win, period, end of story.
We do this thing on Mondays, the $1 Million Mondays, and we have listeners who call in and they pick who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I'm curious to get your thoughts because every week this has been so tough this year in the NFL. You got some teams that you like, some teams your favorites. If I said you got to pick a team right now in the AFC and the NFC, who would you take out of each side?
Man, I mean, I've come around to Buffalo. I'm not Buffalo, but Philadelphia. I didn't think Jalen Hurts would be this good. I really didn't. I really didn't. And they are taking the ball away like playoff teams and championship teams should do. So I would pick them out of the NFC right now. Out of the AFC, I'm still on the Buffalo wagon train. I think Josh Allen is tough to beat. But you've got some contenders. Patrick Mahomes.
Where is that game? If they face each other, is that in KC?
Right now, Buffalo's the number 1 seed in the AFC. If the playoffs started today, it would be in Buffalo.
And don't sleep on Tua. Don't sleep on Miami. I was wrong about him, and I was wrong about Ty Hill going down there and being this
They've
much
killed
of a factor. Oh my God, smashing
They really have.
So don't sleep on them. But for me, I mean, when you talk about the parts you need to win, it's Buffalo for me. Big quarterback, pass rush. They can play outdoors, indoors. They can play anywhere.
All right, let me give you one more quick one, DeMarco, before we let you go. And this, I want to go back to Mayfield again and kind of put together what you were talking about with the winning and what it may mean beyond that. Is this just a let's find a way to win some of these last 5 games, or is this also, hey, maybe this guy can be our backup next season?
I'm hoping that. Yeah. So it's the same as Westbrook coming off the bench. So I need to sit him down and say, are you cool with being a backup? Are you cool with backing up Matthew Stafford? Are you cool with learning the offense, helping him become a better starter? If the answer is yes, yes, and yes, absolutely. Because if Stafford gets hurt, I'd rather turn it over to a guy that's been there, that's been a face of a franchise, versus a guy that's making his first start or third.
We'll see what it looks like if he plays tomorrow. I would imagine by the time you get to Green Bay, he's going to play for sure. So maybe we got to wait about 10 days or so to get there. But isn't this exactly what you want in a backup quarterback? A former starter who's got a lot of experience. Maybe he's not a world beater, but a guy that could get you through a game, 2, 3, or 4. If, for instance, if the Rams were in a playoff position today, but Matthew Stafford had the same injury and was going to miss 4 weeks, we just got to get through the next 4 games. Isn't Mayfield the perfect backup for a situation like that?
As long as he's not a jerk. And look, quarterback controversies stink, right? So if you go out there and you're the backup and you start doing the media rounds and making people love you, You know what I mean? And start putting pressure on my starter. And Stafford has a bad patch. And then people start screaming, Baker.
Right.
I don't want that. And you're feeding into that? No. If you're a backup, great. If you want to help us win, help Matthew Stafford be great, I'm all in. But if you think you can be a starter, then play for us now, and we'll get you at your value. Absolutely.
He's a Super Bowl champ. We will talk to him tomorrow during the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff show.
And he uses
starts
Spotify.
At 3:30, and he is a Spotify user, and he looks
Spotify.
down his nose at your Pandora sleeve.
I did not. It's just,
And he's got what is that hat, by the way? It's like half Santa, half Rudolph. What is that?
Look, I put it on this morning. It
Damn
made
right
people
you did.
smile in my house. That's all that matters.
Damn
See?
right.
I don't have to drive to the Bay Area in silence. I can listen to whatever I want to.
Just try it. I'm just saying, you might get to know.
I may drive off the road.
You might get to know a little guy named DeMarco a little bit better than you did at
I
the
don't
start
want
of
to
the drive. That's it. I understand.
I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to look at him.
Thanks, DeMarco. Ask Momo. Coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, coverage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup on ESPNLA is presented by Estrella Jalisco. Stay tuned to ESPNLA every night for the Road to the Cup show hosted by the voice of LAFC, Dave Denholm. Dave gives you a deep dive into the World Cup's most exciting matchups, in-depth analysis of the action in Qatar, and all the drama that is the world's game. Estrella Jalisco, proud supporters of Team Mexico. Enjoy your World Cup with an Estrella Jalisco beer in hand. Enjoy responsibly. Estrella Jalisco, St. Louis, Missouri.
The biggest show on the radio.
Don't worry, I'm a stoner.
Mason and Ireland on 710.
Hey! Lock in, come on!
Up next at 1 p.m.
On 710 ESPN.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and it's the holiday season. Are you ready to make some money betting the games? We're having a great season so far, and with the bowl season here, it is time to get signed up. Go to FatJackSports.com. Get my bowl analysis sheet for free when you invest in a winning bowl season. It's a predicted final score on every single bowl game. Great for office pools or guys that like to play more than just the top plays. Get signed up today.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPNLA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPNLA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPNLA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
Let's do it. I'm kind of like, I've kind of been excited. Like, I woke up saying,
yes,
wait, I agreed to do the Ask Momo. And then the Twitter responses were flooding in, and I had to wait to respond. I mean,
this is when you got Travis, driving this thing, you're going to get a lot of responses.
We're going to get a few. Let's start.
About hot sauce and stuff.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's start with this one. This is one of my favorites of the day. This is from Drew. And Drew writes, Momo, how do you get a guest to leave your house? Are you passive-aggressive about it, or do you assert a certain body language to let them know it's time to go?
Ooh, that is a really good question. Usually I just pretend to take a work call, or I talk about something that I have to go do, I got to go get ready for, because we have definitely had some, now we got a new baby. And we get guests over who want to hold the baby and play with the baby and all that. And, it's hard because you got to get them to leave sometimes. You're like, all right, well, you got to go down for a nap. Or, oh, you know what? I got a call coming up in a couple of minutes I got to get ready for. They're so nice of you to come. So you just come up with something like that.
So
come up with an excuse.
She's better than me.
Momo, how old is your oldest?
4.
Okay.
4.
So you've had 4 years of experience of this, but how wonderful is it to be able to use the child as an excuse to get out of whatever it is you don't want to do?
Oh. I mean, I used to have to say everything was traffic or something, right? Oh, the traffic. Oh, sorry about that. Now I can just use the kid. It's great.
You're behind on your mortgage. I have 2 kids. I don't know what you want me to do here.
All right, next one.
Baby's sick. Oh, the baby didn't sleep all night. Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest, Al. You should have one for no other reason. Time. Just have a couple, just so you don't have to go to. Just don't have to go to parties.
Actually, you know what?
Anymore.
I'm just going to start saying that.
Philly Phil writes,
the excuse. I got a Zoom coming up in a few minutes. That works for everybody.
That's a very good one too. Philly Phil writes, as a mother, do you like it if friends first ask if they can hold or play with your child?
Depends on the friend.
Go on.
I got some friends that I'm like. Yeah, you can totally hang with baby. You can totally play with them. I trust you. And then you have some friends who, hold the baby, away from them, and they're not quite sure, which way's up. You're like...
Why are you holding the ankle?
Holding it like a fish.
Yeah. They're super afraid that the baby's going to spit on them or sit up on them. Babies, things happen, right? You got to think it's cute.
All right.
Friends generally, it's better to ask always if you don't know. But for the most part, the only ones that can be creepy are sort of older relatives whose kids are grown and they see your baby and kind of harken back to their baby days, and then they get a little needy with them, Yeah.
No, I'll hold him.
Give me the baby.
Yeah, go home. I'll take him for the rest of the afternoon. No thanks, Aunt Kathy. All right, let's try and ask Momo on the phones. Let's go to Torrance and Alex. Alex, what's your Ask Momo?
All right, happy Wednesday, everyone. So, Momo, I know you went to Stanford. Other than that, if you had to pick a college football atmosphere to go for one day, what would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. So I have actually been to a lot of great college football atmospheres, right, in my professional life. I think the Rose Bowl, to me, was the best. The actual Rose Bowl, not just a random UCLA home game. I mean, the Rose Bowl, the Texas USC Rose Bowl is probably the best home game I've ever been to.
Yep.
The best game I've been to. But the coolest atmosphere I've ever been to that made me want to go to more things like that, I took a recruiting trip to Michigan.
Ooh.
And we saw a home game at the Big House. And it was I don't even think they were playing anybody. It was Michigan, Indiana or something. And it was so fun. The whole town shut down. So the one thing I have not got to do in my professional life is cover some kind of cool SEC game, like a Georgia-Florida game, the world's largest cocktail party. So I want to do that. I think that would probably be my bucket list. I haven't been to that kind of atmosphere before.
All right, let's go to the next one here. Good question, Alex.
Bucket.
Yeah,
I did. I was with you.
Yeah.
I kind of got for a second. I'm like, Ramona just dropped an F-bomb.
But bucket sounded
bucket
different
list.
for half a second,
Yeah,
Ramona.
bucket.
Yes, bucket with a B. Bucket like Bob. Yeah.
She really doesn't care. I mean, she's really opening up.
Yeah, that's a what list? Yeah, that's what it sounded like for a second. It's from David, SFV93. Ramona, this is the classic Mary Blank kill game. You're familiar?
Got it. Yeah, oh, definitely.
Okay, so
Spend
here,
all the time in the stands of spring training.
here you go. These are your 3 items. Marry, blank, kill. Sushi, Mexican food, and pizza.
Wow. I have to kill one of those? I like all of those.
That's why it's hard.
Marry, blank, and kill. Okay. I think I would probably. Okay, look, I'm about to go on a diet. The thing that that's hard for me to give up and really is a bad thing for me when I'm about to go on a diet is Mexican food, so I'm going to have to kill it, right?
Oh, wow. Upset.
Too good.
Okay.
Too good. Okay, like you put a plate of nachos in front of me, there's not going to be there long, right? So we're going to have to kill that because we're in a healthy stage now.
Okay.
And sushi's probably going to be the one I'm going to marry because that's, fish.
Yeah.
Right?
You can make good choices with sushi.
Then, yeah, I can make good choices. I can feel healthy. Like, I feel like you can eat so much sushi and it, doesn't count. Like, just fish. It's going to be all right, right? And then pizza, I love making pizza. I love eating pizza. I eat pizza all over the world. It's one of the hardest things to screw up, although it can be done. It can be screwed up. But, I don't think I can live without pizza. I don't think the world can live without pizza.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. This is Jason Torres. This is one of our classics here on the Trav and Slee Show. We get this a lot. What is your in and out order?
Double animal style.
We doing fries? We doing drinks? Just the burger?
Usually just the burger. I'll sometimes do the fries, but I kind of feel like I don't need it. Like, the fries to me are not really value added. They're just calories added, and they're not good enough for me to justify it. So I'd rather just go the double animal style.
That's a great answer.
Sometimes I don't do the animal style with the pickles. I just want just the double with
and the mustard. And the mustard too. That's the other part of the
the mustard. Well, the bun is cooked with the mustard.
Well, sure.
On it. But sometimes I just want the classic double grilled onion.
That's a good. By the way, I'm just throwing that. If you're a grilled onion, do you like raw onions at all on things?
Not really.
Okay.
Like, I won't pick them off. But I always feel like they put too many onions on there.
There's, by the way, you're right. There is way too many on there, and I never take anything out. I never.
All right, this is Ivan
all the onions,
in Monrovia. Would you attempt to parallel park in front of a crowded sidewalk cafe, or would you drive around and look for an easier spot?
You know what, Ivan? I would do it. I have done it, and I have failed miserably several times, and I just kind of lean in. Like, I definitely am not afraid of it. Like, I used to be afraid of it, but I lived in San Francisco. I've driven in New York. Like, there's just, I'm not saying I'm going to nail it. Like, it's probably about 40% that I'm going to nail, Like, the other times I'm going to be like, oh, shoot, I got to try again, right? And then you kind of stop traffic and everyone's watching you. I actually am
Hey, whose car is this in front? Can someone move this car?
Yeah, no, I'm the type who would roll down my window and I'd ask for help. I'd be like, hey, can somebody spot me? But if it was a crowded cafe, I'd do that.
There's something oddly satisfying about nailing a parallel parking attempt in front of a lot of people. It's just like, you guys see that?
Car, like, did everybody see that?
Exactly right.
Did anybody?
You're asking around.
Did you guys catch what I just did?
Yeah.
How impressed are you? Because I'm impressed with myself. All right, Momo, you mentioned this one. We're going to finish here. This is from Francis in Glendale. Which of these hot sauces is your favorite? I'm going to read it because there's a picture, so I'm going to give them to you. There's classic Cholula. There is classic Tapatio. There is the original Tabasco. And then there is the green version of Tabasco.
Okay. This is a really interesting question because I was never a hot sauce person, okay? Until my cousin came down and she started making breakfast for everybody. She stayed with us and she's like a good cook. She started making everything with classic Cholula. And I was like, what is this wonderful sauce that you have? And I had never discovered it. My dad used to put Tabasco sauce on everything. So I just thought it was gross. And I was like, no, I'm not. But I think my taste buds are changing. And I have actually somewhat embraced the green Tabasco sauce as well. So it's either Cholula or the green Tabasco.
Those are really, really good choices. This was fun, Ramona. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Ramona.
This may become more of a regular spot for you if you're up for it. This is good. We'll hit you up in a few more weeks, maybe.
You're catching me on my drive-in, and it's perfect timing. I'm going by the trucks on the 5 freeway here, so anytime.
Perfect. Thanks, Momo.
Right.
We'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you, Mono.
All right, you got it. She picked the 2 correct ones. You want to know why really quick? Cholula, the classic Cholula goes with...
It's my favorite one.
Goes with everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little sweet, it's a little smoky, and there's not much heat. It's actually kind of... On
It's a
a
perfect
heat,
complement to
it's
whatever food.
Whatever you want, Cholula goes well, and it's not particularly hot. The classic Tabasco is much hotter than Cholula, and it's vinegary. If you don't like vinegar, you're not going to like that. And Tapatio is just not my jam. I've got bottles of it in my house, but it's way too smoky. There's a really smoky element to Tapatio that's not my deal. And then Tabasco Green number 2, you could put it on a boot, and I would eat it. There's no wrong thing to put green Tabasco on, including Dave Roberts. I'm sure he's delicious with some green Tabasco along the way. He said something that I really, really did not like. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 7. Here, Al. Jason Levine says there's no such thing as, quote, too many onions on a burger. I tend to agree with that. What I was going to suggest to Momo, and I believe I've said it to you before, is if you get the double animal style and also with raw onions, a little double dip right there, you're going to be breathing fire the rest of the night, but my God, is it good.
You do it with both?
Occasionally, not every time, because it's a different experience.
Preference between the two?
If I had to pick one or the other?
Got to pick one.
Raw.
I'm going raw, too.
Yeah. I like the caramelized ones. Grilled onions are great, too. But
and there's a lot of onions in there.
It's a thick
And I'm
slice.
like, yeah, no, that works.
It's a thick.
That sounds
thick
good to me.
slice.
Can I weigh on something here too?
Yes.
So there is something that can be too much on a burger for me. Too much mustard and too much ketchup. Like, this is not an In-N-Out thing. In-N-Out doesn't use ketchup, but like, this is a McDonald's thing for me. This is what when people automatically put just plain old yellow mustard on my burger. No, thank you. I'm on my burger. I like a mayo. I like mayo on my burger. That's my topping of choice. I do like the In-N-Outs, like Thousand Island spread, stuff like that.
Please.
So
come on, a little respect.
Sorry, my lack of respect here, but I get particular about that. And then I don't love a ton of onions. Onions are fine, but like
you're either in or out,
but
right?
like the McDonald's stuff, the McDonald's onions,
those
no
little
thank
diced
you.
ones, yeah,
No,
that's
thank you.
not the best thing in the world. Nice.
I'm almost scared to make her burger if I'm at McDonald's.
I'm going to make the burger and just leave all the. Here are the things that you can put together.
This is why I would ask her, like, can you come in the back and just tell me how much you want? I'd be nervous.
Yeah,
put on the little hat. Go into the back.
She's like, less. I'm like, okay, I'll take some off.
Because this is the thing I've seen on TikTok, because they do like the people go and will record behind the scenes of like how they're making different stuff, and it's just this little gun that shoots out like the ketchup and the mustard, and like this is why I don't get burgers from McDonald's. Just get chicken nuggets.
Are you ready for this one, Slee? I wish I would have seen this before she left because this is arguably my favorite one. Christopher Holmes says, Slee asked you to set him up on a friend date with Woj, a la your awkward attempt to befriend Chelsea Clinton. Do you oblige him? I don't know the Chelsea Clinton story, so I'm going to need that. That would be awesome. Hey, Ramona, it's Al. This is going to sound kind of weird, but anyway, you could hook me up. Just go grab a cup of coffee with Woj one I think that would
I don't
be
think
amazing.
I would ever ask that. I don't think I'd ever ask. And I kind of think
What if she told you, hey, I could probably get him to meet you for a cup of coffee tomorrow morning
Then I
before
would
the
do
show.
it.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But I want
do that in a
you
heartbeat.
to ask. I want you to be the driving force behind all of
What
this.
if I just waited too? Like, there's Woj and I grabbing a cup of coffee, and both him and I are waiting to see who's going to pay.
I mean, you asked me, so maybe you should pick up the coffee bill here.
Come on, Woj. Come on.
One more here. Has anyone removed you from their contact list when they saw the green bubble when you started texting them now? I'm turning it into an
Nobody
Ashley.
yet. Yeah,
nobody
nobody
said
yet.
anything? Has
No.
anybody gone, dude, why are you green? Has anybody asked that?
Only Emily and Mace.
Okay, I asked
And Jorge
you
did.
because when
Oh,
I'm
actually,
sharing,
no, Jorge did. Jorge
I
did.
hate it. It's awful.
because when I'm sharing
You don't
tweets
text me,
now-
so it's not an issue. But if you ever did send me a text, I would. If you just out of the blue showed up green in my phone, I'd be like, dude, everything all right? Did you get kidnapped? Like, what's going on?
I'm going to text you a lot more now.
Pre-Google Pixel, like when I would send you guys tweets, it like shows up as the full tweet, and you can see the picture, you can see the things. Now it just shows up as a link, and it's less helpful.
No, that's not.
But it's okay,
useful at
Alan.
all.
I know that you have a superior camera, so now you can just take cool pics everywhere.
By the way,
But that's not
I
why you
don't
bought
know.
it.
I don't know. Well, actually, the camera does have a lot to do with
I'm
it.
sure it does, but
Yeah.
you just said you went in there fully and get the iPhone, and the guy just said, "Hey, this is just so you know, it's a better
So
camera."
initially, I went to the Apple store ready to buy the phone, and they didn't have the phone. This was like a couple weeks ago. So then, they had their it's like, you go, what did they say in car dealerships? Like, you go to a lot, don't let them off the lot. Apple was fine. They were like, we'll be fine either way.
I think they're okay.
They're like, it's going to take a couple weeks, and then you got to go to another store, and it's all the way down. I'm like, no.
That phone looks huge, by the way. Does it fit in your pocket?
Let me see.
It's actually not that
It's
much bigger than the.
slightly taller, but it's not crazy.
It's a little bit taller. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. But this is the old phone.
Why do you still have the other one?
It's
burner.
got
Come
some
on
numbers here that you got to put over, and
It doesn't automatically download everything.
Actually, on purpose, I'm not doing that. I have
because you can't use
are
iCloud.
you going to be a 2 cell phone guy?
for as long
love
as I
that.
need to.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, that one's
This,
off.
I'm just.
That one's off. That one's. I don't have.
Oh, okay.
It's not
Okay.
active.
I was just going to say this is going to create a problem at some point where I didn't get the. You're going to show up at the wrong place. You're going to.
No.
Okay.
I only have one number. This is the number.
Okay.
I've had that phone for so long. Not even just that phone, but I've had iPhone for so long that I have so many. I used to, back in the day on the business side, every contact we used to put into our computer, then it would get uploaded into our phone. When I tell you I have 95% of the contacts in my phone I never use anymore, I don't want to transfer everything over. I just want to just slowly start putting numbers back in. What do I have? X amount of people that I communicate on a weekly basis. That's all I want to know.
So Travis, let's not forget though. You remember whenever Slee's absent, He's a secret agent. That's why he has two phones, guys.
Yeah. That's
He's
all
a spy.
coming together.
This is why he needs a second phone. He needs his burner so he can get all his secret missions.
I'm going to ask you a question during the break, and you tell me whether I should do it on the air next segment or not, because the assassin part of your brain, I'm going to need to tap into it for a second and figure out
someone's
what I
going
should.
down.
No, it's not that. It's just it's more of the cleanup after the actual deed takes place that I have questions about. We'll get into that in just a second. Winter meetings are obviously going on. A lot of players moving all over the place.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger is a Chicago Cub. Aaron Judge is staying in New York with the Yankees. After very briefly people thought he might be headed to San Francisco, John Heyman said he's likely going there. He retracted that fairly quickly. I thought that I like that happened for no other reason than I wanted it to bother you, but you seem to have gotten
Giants
over
fans won't forget that. They will not forget that one.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say he was likely to come. Or
can I say on that, in that whole world, damn, it's so easy to get the wrong information in their world. They're being fed info, right? Agents, this, that. How much of the time are they getting fed the info just to make sure that it's a negotiating ploy with the other team that they really want to sign with?
Well, this is the deal, right? This is why you have to double source your things. You don't get it from one person. You got to get it from two independent people that have nothing to do with each other.
Okay, so Heyman he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
As is Ken Rosenthal. What do you think happens with Heyman where he decides, okay, I'm comfortable with sending out that
somebody
tweet?
that he trusts implicitly gave him that information, and it turned out to be wrong.
So
it's
that's
as
one
simple as
person.
that. Yeah.
What you just said earlier was you should probably have two people do it.
You should, but look, if for instance, if
I know what you're
Susan
saying.
told me something,
I know what you're saying.
I would inherently believe it to be true because same idea, and we all have these sources, right? You've given me 100 pieces of information, 100 of them have been correct, and you tell me this is what it is. You're just like, I'm going to go with this because I want to be. That's how it happens. I mean, I don't understand the need to be first. That's the part that's always kind of blown up. Who cares whether I get it 10 minutes behind that guy if it's right or not? I don't understand the need for all of that.
You're right about that. I'm with you. There's a thirst for being the first one to do it.
All right, so Dave Roberts was talking at the winter meetings, talking about who's coming and going. And, of course, the conversation always comes back to the Dodgers, which is what the hell happened at the end of the year? Why did you guys go out as quickly as you did? Why did you play 4 more games than the Cincinnati Reds, than the Anaheim Angels, and all the other teams that didn't make the playoffs? And did the other team want it more?
You know, as a manager, you never want to say that somebody wants it more than you, because I think that speaks to the preparation part of it, the mental part of it. But I will say that, you know, you look at that dugout versus our dugout, there was more intensity there.
I mean, seriously? That is a real bummer. That is a real bummer because I get it, the Padres are playing with house money. I get it that the Padres beat the Mets and they're feeling pretty good about themselves, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but that's different.
That you had a 111-win team, and you have a chance to go win the World Series and validate this entire era of Dodger baseball, and you're telling me that the Padres wanted it more potentially, that they were just a little bit more plugged in? I'm not a huge believer in, like, rah-rah baseball stuff. Baseball, you don't play it like that. You play football like that. You don't play baseball like that. But this, admission is a step too far, but this willingness to at least discuss the fact that the other team may have wanted it more. If you have a job as a manager, isn't that one of the jobs, is to make sure that your guys understand the stakes and are competing at the very highest level? Isn't that job description number one?
You know what I have a difficult time? I feel like the Dodgers have, especially Dave Roberts, Friedman as well, but I think they've done a lot of times in this, when the season was coming to a close, postseason comments right after the postseason ended, and then here now when the dust settled. I think they've said some really, really puzzling things to me.
It's a good word.
The whole 111 wins, almost setting up how big the regular season was. Guys, don't forget how tough this is. Don't forget how tough this is. Okay, everybody understands that, but you do understand the only thing that really matters is the postseason. You don't have to keep talking about the regular season. And right when the season ended, you know, I don't know if when they said they're not all that disappointed, it's not a lost season. You're like, guys, you just lost in the postseason 4 games in. You're supposed to go win a World Series. Why are you saying that? And then this one just to me is another line of comments that they've had. Let me. If I'm asked that question, I'm Dave Roberts. Yeah, no one wanted it more than we did. Nobody. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Did we lose 3 out of 4 games? We did. But do not tell me that Trey Turner did not want it, or Mookie Betts didn't want it, or Clayton Kershaw didn't want it, or Julio, or go down the list. Have some kind of answer that way to say that, yeah, I was looking at the other dugout, and it looked like they were a little bit more fiery. I respect your honesty, but that is on you. Like, I don't know who else to look at more than your manager if that part of it you're not getting it done.
I think a lot of it has to do with the sort of players that you have, too. The Trey Turner and Freddie Freeman are pretty stoic guys, right? That Justin Turner is a pretty stoic guy. Cody Bellinger, we tease him all the time because he doesn't look like he knows what's going on. He's a pretty flat affect kind of guy. Mookie's the most emotional player that they have. He's banging his chest, and good. We need more of that. And then you look at Soto plays with a great deal of emotion. Manny Machado plays with a great deal of emotion. You see some of these the pitchers that the Padres had. Musgrove for sure. And you look at these guys, and there just did seem to be a little more energy. You can get stuck in a weird way and equating demonstrative with wanting it more because the Padres were clearly more demonstrative. I don't think the Dodgers wanted it less, but I would like them to play with this really hard to define cocktail of relaxation, urgency, professionalism, and also a little bit of blanket. Like, let's just go out there and let it all hang out. It's a weird mix of things, and I don't know how you get them in that space necessarily, but that's the job.
But just to kind of go,
that's the job.
Trav, but just to go with what you just said, I get it. For 162 games, you can have that approach. You can have, like you're saying, that Trey Turner is going to have a different, Freddie Freeman is going to have a different type of mentality through 162 games. But they're also vets that understand you drop 2 games in a row, that could be the series. Isn't there just naturally a more sense of urgency in the postseason? You didn't see that.
It didn't appear
they
to it.
They did play it like it was regular season.
And he's saying, yeah, there may have been a little bit of something to that. Andrew Friedman had some thoughts on it, which we'll play for you in just a little bit. But stay with the Dodgers for a second here, Slee, because they haven't really done the splashy thing yet. Will they? And if they don't, are we good with that? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
During this holiday season, ESPNLA and Subaru are partnering with the Folds of Honor Foundation for our inaugural Long Drive-a-thon event. Proceeds raised will provide scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled military and first responders. Our Long Drive-a-thon event is taking place on Friday, December 9th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. If you'd like to participate and support the Folds of Honor, go to blackgoldgolf.com. That's blackgoldgolf.com. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
So I got two things real quick, Al. Number one, you're getting deleted from my phone. I can't look at the screen thing.
Sounds good.
It's repulsive.
Sounds good.
Ramona just texted us and said that Woj is going to be here this week and she can make this happen.
Please, let's do it.
I'm going to get in touch with Ramona secretly. Because I can't have you, in the background taking video. Hey, there's Slee.
Can I see your phone?
Slee's with him. Yeah.
Slee, let me see your... Why? I know you already went over this, but it just hurts my eyes to look at. Get it out of here.
Awful.
That screen is
amazing.
Guys,
you're sounding like Spotify users
big
right
time.
now.
Big time. It's unbelievable.
Well, hey, listen, you unhinged know-nothing.
Bullies abound.
He deserves to be bullied. You're ruining group chats.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm just going to...
By the way, this might play even more into...
I'm not even doing a deal. Sometimes I'm doing a bit, but this is just... I'm literally deleting you as we speak.
Can you show it? Show it to the screen. You should absolutely
just so
show
I know,
delete
you're
it,
deleting
but don't
because...
show his phone number.
I don't want those green things in my contacts.
It's true.
It's like having,
It's a deal breaker in a relationship.
It's like having a criminal.
Nothing you can do about it.
No, this is actually a deal breaker in a relationship. If I get a green, bubble, that's it. I'm out.
That sounds like such a healthy, smart relationship.
He gets Woj's number, and Woj just sees that green bubble, and he's like, ah.
Well, then I go. Yeah, then I go back.
You go back. Okay, good.
If that happened with Woj, that's a different story.
Why won't it let me delete you? How do I do that?
Because it's Android.
Gosh.
I'm in. Trading your phone.
I'm already in. There's nothing you can do.
It's like one of those things you have it forever. You can never.
Once it's in, it's in.
I almost said something that I wasn't. I'm doing a good job of self-editing today.
You've done a great job of self-editing. That's multiple times.
It's like when you get something that you can't get rid of, and I just kind of.
You're like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep that one in my brain. Yeah, I like.
You guys are better than this.
I'm not.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Maybe I put you guys too high.
Yeah.
Maybe I put you guys too high.
That's a calibration error on your part more than anything
take
else.
You guys back down.
Don't put me on a pedestal.
Not that I'm not happy to see you, Greg. I'm always happy when you come in, but you just felt that now was the time to stroll in?
Yeah, I don't know. Just felt like I don't.
You got to tell your story you told me this morning about the haircut lady who was
haircut lady?
working you over.
This is just So you told a story about your haircut the other day. And
let's not talk about my haircut. Let's just go to yours.
Can I just see where we are on it, just with the growth?
It's
still very, very low.
I understand.
Yeah.
By Christmas, I'm hoping that I can look like a
it's
normal
almost,
human being.
If I kind of have it, it's like you're part of one of the military branches, and you're like a sergeant. But here's the thing.
It's not flat enough.
I haven't been in PT for quite some time.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But it has a little bit of that kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I've been
about?
riding the desk at the Marine Corps for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's what it's got to feel.
You never went to battle.
I haven't been in the field in a long time. I haven't. Yeah, it's not great.
So Slee, I have my haircut place. It's a barbershop. It's right around the corner from my house. It's literally a 3-minute walk.
Perfect.
If not less. It's super easy, and I go there all the time, and that's where. But today,
what's the damage these days at a barbershop?
This was what it also went up. It was $30. Yesterday it was $40.
Yeah, that's a lot.
$40 is too much for a haircut. First of all. And so I go over there, and all they had left was this one woman, and it's usually a guy that does it because there's only one woman in there, and I usually like when women do my hair because they're better at it. Mm-hmm. But this one I'd never used before, and she sat me down, and we start talking, and it was just like, okay, and she starts cutting my hair, but all of a sudden do you give her all the details? This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. Told her everything that I want, everything I wanted. A little bit longer in the front, a little bit short in the back, the whole deal, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, she starts telling me how she works in Orange County, and I said, oh, why do you work in Orange County and Valley Village? It's a long distance.
Yeah,
that was it. That was it. That was the end of that was it. All that was needed. She went on a tirade. For the rest of the time that we were talking.
She had a lot to talk about.
She had a lot to talk about how it was.
Negative stuff. Problems in her life.
Problems in her life that were happening at her other job and all this craziness. Mm-hmm. But that's fine. If you want to talk and just vent.
No, it's not.
What's her name? I can get through it. Let's call her
Barber.
Samantha. I don't know.
I'll go Samantha.
Samantha?
We should do an Ask Samantha
Dolores.
next week.
Yeah, you should.
We should do an Ask Samantha.
On forever. But here's the problem, Slee. It wasn't the fact that she talked. I can deal with just being like, I had 8 men out on the screen in front of me. It's great. But she was just talking. But not only was she talking, she stopped. She would stop cutting my hair. She would stop cutting my hair.
Oh, so she can make her point.
So she can make her
so
point.
Now she's
she
looking
would now
at you.
Turn to the side.
She's looking at you, right? In the mirror?
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
a mirror in front of you? So
Yeah.
she's looking at you, and now she's finishing her story, and she's got all her equipment. She's holding it.
Yeah, and she moves to the side
Yep.
and just and standing next to me and waving her arms, not cutting my hair anymore.
Amazing.
I got there at 5:15. I didn't leave till 6:20.
That's
And I don't have a lot of hair, Travis.
that is
Can I?
an assault. That is literally a haircut assault.
it's very upsetting.
Can I help you with
should be.
this?
I was- you
What
know,
if,
you know
just
the tape?
hypothetically,
Yes.
what if you helped her? What if she had, she had to just
Not
get
my
that
job.
out?
Not
if,
my
what if,
problem.
What if you just walked away? I get it. It's not convenient. It's not what you want. But maybe, just maybe, that 1 hour she spent, she was good to go. The problem is, I think the next person that came in probably had a similar question, how are you doing? And she spent an hour talking to them,
That
saying
was
the
the
same
Dude,
thing.
get a
problem.
therapist.
That was
Greg
the problem.
Birdman's there to get a haircut. He's not there to listen to that lady.
That was also
No,
the
but
problem. I was the
he can-
last one
he
of
can
the
do it.
night.
Not asking if he can. I'm saying he shouldn't have to.
This is perfect for him.
No.
He can do both.
No.
Gets
He
the
might
haircut
like it.
and he listens.
No.
No, it was awful. It's like, you know how you have the cape over you, just
Yeah.
so you don't get the hair all over you? My hands were folded underneath, and I was squeezing them tight, just
Okay,
wanting
I
to
have a
scream
question.
out, saying,
There's
"Just
ways
cut
to
my
get
hair."
There's ways to get outs on that. There's
That's-
ways to get outs.
that's
on
So
it.
where is
My
the outs?
que-
Because you can't be mean.
You can't engage. You don't be mean, but you need to be rude adjacent.
Yeah.
You need to be one of those.
I'm pulling one of these 100% over the thing.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my phone.
that's a good one.
I'm
I
sorry,
should've
just
looked
a
at my
second.
phone.
I'm
I should've
doing- I'm
looked at
looking
my
at the phone.
phone.
That's a
I'm
good one.
saying, I'm also saying, and this is probably going to be rude, but I would do it. I would say something to the effect of, hey, just an FYI, I got to be out of here in the next 15, 20 minutes, just so you know. I
That's
would
not
do
even
that.
rude adjacent. That's just
That's
full
just
on
rude.
rude.
But I would do that.
You're stopping a story. And here's the problem. You can't
No, I would
be.
wait for the pause. I would wait for the right moment.
You can't, because then she'll screw your hair up.
Yeah, I'm with Greg on this. I think you just have to kind of.
Trav was nice. They screwed up his hair.
That's very true.
But here's the problem. Like, when she
happen to
finally
anybody.
stopped talking, and an hour later, I looked at my hair and I was like, "This is not what I was looking
fine.
for. It's not. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's not what I was looking for. I
Take care
would probably
for
wanted a little bit shorter." And I didn't care. She's like, "So what do you think? Do you need to change anything?" No. Everything's great.
Yeah, no, hell
good.
no.
That was great job. Here you go.
Yeah, okay.
Here's
So
your tip.
40
I'm out of here.
bucks.
Did you tip her?
I did tip her.
All right.
I can't not. I can't not.
I'm 100% with you on that. You got to tip her for sure. But the next time it happens, you'll never go back. But if you.
Oh, I'm going back there. It's
But
a
just won't get
3-minute
hurt.
walk. I won't
right?
get hurt. Yeah,
okay,
no.
so
And I'll
in the
tell them.
event that you find yourself in a similar situation, it's one of those. And then, what? Oh, like she needs to know you're not listening and not interested. You need to throw it out there.
Trav,
gotta use your phone.
Like I said, 8 Men Out was on. I was like, "Oh, I love this movie. I haven't seen it in forever. It's about John Cusack's in it, and it's about the 1919 Chicago Black Sox." And I started trying to talk about that. She goes, "Oh, that's interesting." So this guy
You're
down
dead.
there, it
You're
didn't matter. I tried
No.
to change
Was
the
the story?
conversation.
Was any part of the story interesting?
No,
Nothing.
actually, there was one part that was interesting. Apparently, down in Orange County, all the women are they work in funeral homes,
Every single
Okay,
one.
and
hold
they're
on.
good looking.
I have lived in Orange County for over a decade. Never met a single person
Not
that's
one.
worked at a funeral,
Not one.
male or female.
The hairstylist?
No.
The
one.
hairstylists, they double as
Okay.
Morticians?
as morticians,
Well, yeah, you
and they're
gotta
all
get a
beautiful
nice cut
women.
before
Apparently,
you go in the ground.
What was that?
I mean,
You got to get a nice cut
I'd
before
stay
you go
till
in
8
the ground,
o'clock
right?
if I do that. I need a little more info.
It was very
Also,
strange.
Okay, guys. So here's this thing. Why don't you guys go to the same person every time? So like, do you just when you schedule a haircut, do you just go, oh, whoever's available? Like, cause
No.
this is your issue, is you gotta go to this one person that you know that isn't gonna do this kind of crap. And also, why don't you just go to men? Like, get your haircut by men.
So it's an excellent question, Emily. Normally, I go to the same person every single time. He was not available today or yesterday. I wanted to have my haircut yesterday because it was the only time this week that I was going to have time before Saturday. So that was my last
part
moment.
of the answer, and you're telling the other part of the answer is, Emily, most men, not all, but most men are not particularly vain, and they're willing to risk a bad haircut to save 5 minutes.
Correct.
That's what it is. That I want a haircut right now. I don't care who it is. Let's just get this done with it.
So
You
I
wouldn't
would
have had this story. This worked out great for
My
you.
suggestion is just
was awful.
find someone who doesn't talk and then just stick with them. And I know you already have your person, but then just sacrifice that so you don't have to have this happen to you again.
It was
Every
a
single day.
one-time thing that I could not get out of. It was awful.
You could wait a couple days. That's how you get out of it.
Well, no, but I can't wait a couple. I needed it by Saturday.
There you go. You need
Plus,
it when you need
it's
it.
his mistake if he goes back to her.
Oh, I won't go
For
back.
the first time, I don't know what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
For all I know, she's just going to do a good haircut.
You should
and
see
15
if she
minutes
just
you're out
picks
of
up
there.
right where she left off.
There's zero chance.
Just one sentence ends, and the next one begins. Don't forget, Rams game tomorrow night at SoFi Stadium, Rams and Raiders. Are you going, Bert? Are you going to go see your Raiders?
Yes, I am
Nice.
going to go there. I have a bet with DeMarco Farr.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, I want to hear the bet coming up in just a bit. But Kirk and I will be at Hollywood Park Casino for the Rams postgame show tomorrow night. We'll be broadcasting live from the Rays Lounge. Stop by and pick up a Teza Nutrient Pouch. Get more focus and energy in your daily life with Teza Nutrient Pouches. Visit TezaEnergy.com and make your mouth happy. Use the code ESPNLA25 for 25% off of your purchase. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
p.m. and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back. First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, just so you know, I only had time yesterday to go through 2 episodes of Survivor. So I went from 5 to 2,
Step it up a notch.
Does it feel like you stifled a sneeze? You know how that always feels kind of weird, like you didn't get it out? Are you all right?
I'm kind of okay. I got stuck. Not stuck, but I was talking to my roommate and stuff, and then I was like, oh wait, I got Survivor to watch, and as if I needed to complete an amount for a project.
Conversation is over. It's like your own personal barber hell. I got to get out of here. I got TV to watch.
Yeah. So I was talking to Travis about this in the kitchen this morning. I am so excited to see Cocaine Bear. I have not been this excited to see a movie in a long time. I get excited about movies a lot, but I keep on seeing the trailer and keep on getting fired up each time. But
I saw the trailer.
Yeah. The fact that Cocaine Bear is based off a true story makes you want to see it more. Travis, Factor Cap?
I like those stories that are... So you got to be careful, though, right? There's based on a true story, which is basically just
You need one small nugget of a fact
of the story.
The fact that a bear ate cocaine.
A bear got cocaine, that's based on a true story. But based on actual events is a little bit different. I like those better. based on a true story are fine, but when you are more trying to tell the story of the actual thing that happened, I prefer those. But yes, I do like it when there's a little kernel of truth in there.
All right, fact makes it more interesting, but I don't know if that's going to go draw me to actually go see the movie. I'm going to need, I think to see this movie, I'm going to need you to come back one morning and say, guys, you have to see it. It's freaking hilarious. Make sure you go do it. I'm going to need other people to also convince me. I'm not going to go out of my way, but if there's enough chatter out there, I'll go see it.
Taylor?
Cap, it doesn't matter that it's based on a true story. I think the title of this movie is enough for me to want to see it, but I'm not going to go, seek it out in theaters. It's probably going to be a few years down the road. I'm going to think, oh, yeah, Emily Hebel wanted me to watch Cocaine Bear.
He'll give his review in 2025.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it the very first showing possible. I'm going to go and I'm going to dress like a bear or something like that. I'm going to make this a whole event.
Do you go to the same movie theater every time, or do you kind of bounce around?
If I can, I have a season pass. It's like you pay X amount of money a month, and then I get unlimited movies. So I go to the same place because of that deal. So I don't have to waste my money because I spend like $30 on the a month on it, but then I can go to I end up saving money in the long run. So we saw DeMarco walk in. If you watch on YouTube on the stream, he was wearing a hat. And I asked him as he left, is that Santa or is that reindeer? Because he had a Santa hat with reindeer antlers.
Like a Pegasus.
Yeah, but it's like one of those hats that comes down to the side of your head and extends, the ears extend down your waist. So it reminds me when I was a kid, when I went to New York City for the first time, I got one of those hats. As a souvenir from New York City, I got one of those really crazy long hats. So you are a souvenir guy. When you go someplace, you get something from it. Al, fact or cap?
I partially fact. Not every time, but if I go, I'll do this. If there's a place that I like, a place that I had a good time. Obviously, it could be a Zion or it could be La Paz.
That's what I was trying to see what sweatshirt you had on there for a second.
If I'm international, I always try to get something. But if I'm going somewhere where, I don't know, it just didn't have an effect on me, I won't buy anything.
I am more often than not, no. I'm more in Al's camp. I'll buy a sweatshirt or something. If I see a sweatshirt that I like, that I need, that's kind of comfortable, sure, something like T-shirt along the way. But I don't need a thing to commemorate my trip to place X. It's in my head. It's the experience. It's the people you're with. I don't need the little trinket to do it.
Taylor?
Fact, I have a bunch of stickers from everywhere. Shows, places I've been. I have a lot of stickers, way too many.
Where do you put them?
So I have an entire guitar case that's full. I have a locker in my room that's almost full. I have a water bottle that's full. Just, anywhere.
So they're in the case, or they're stuck to the case?
They're on the outside of the guitar case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic.
Put one on his car.
Just not my vehicle. No, that says something about somebody. I don't know. I can't do bumper stickers.
Yeah,
they feel oddly permanent. You know what I mean? To get it off seems like a chore. No, not happening.
Yeah, the only one I have on mine is my university, and obviously that's not going to change. I'm attached to that no matter what.
You better hope you sell it to somebody else that's a Virginia alum.
I can take it off. But I always get, I don't always do this, but I like to, if I go to a place and I really like the place that I went to and it's a good memory for I get a mug. I like getting mugs or glassware, something like that. My friend used to collect shot glasses because they're tiny and they are fun to have as a little party.
But but then, and I get it. This is not, but now all of a sudden I got 30 shot glasses. Yeah. What do I do with them?
One says Alhambra, and one says West Covina.
I'd kind of be into that. I'd be into the West Covina one more than the Denmark one. That's far more interesting to me.
So I saw this story on Yahoo this morning about a manager from hell. Apparently, an Olive Garden manager would not let an employee get the sick day off unless they came in and because the employee was trying to get a sick day for their dead dog. Their dog died trying to get out of a day of work. But the manager was like, well, bring your dead dog to work and we'll be good. Essentially, was what the manager said. So you've had a manager from hell, and I would prefer it to be a part-time job outside of radio. But if it's a radio person, feel free to share. But you've had a manager from hell, Taylor.
Oh, this is Cap. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I've been pretty fortunate. I've been around a lot of really friendly and kind people. I had this wasn't really a from hell scenario, but I had a producer one time. And she would always...
Her name's Emily Hebel.
a different female producer who would always click on the, I don't know, if you ever go to like Yahoo or one of these websites, they have these fake ads, and they're very clearly fake at the bottom.
Yep.
And she would always click on those ads, and she was always convinced that they were real. And I couldn't understand for the life of me why.
That doesn't make her a manager from hell. It just makes her an idiot.
But that just says something. That says something about the worst manager I've ever had. That's not much.
It means you've had good managers.
Exactly.
Travis?
So, first of all, the guy that said present the dead dog is a monster. That's just awful. The reason you haven't had bad managers, I'm going to take a stab in the dark, and I would like to think that the reason that I've been very, very fortunate with all of this is because you do your job. I don't think you're going to have a bunch of bad managers, dead dog guy aside, if you are a good employee. Managers, even the bad ones, will leave the guys that are doing their work well alone, right? It makes their life easier. I think the guy that always has the bad manager, it's you, bro. You're the problem. It's not that you've had a series of 22 bad managers, is that you suck. I think that's the answer to the problem.
Al?
So I'm with I haven't had like a evil manager, somebody that's really bad, but no question about it, there are styles where, I won't give any specific examples, but I'll say that they want to know where you are.
The Golden Corral guy?
They want to know. No, that one I never had an opportunity for him to be my manager. They want to know where you are. They want to know what you're doing. They want to. It's like, and it's not just me. It's everybody there. It's like, bro, relax. Why are you so concerned? It was more of a power thing. That's the one thing I just absolutely can't stand. It's, no, I'm in a position of power, and I want you to know that I'm in a position of power. I'm like, the more you try to tell me that you're in a position of power, the less power it feels like you have. So that would be my example of a manager that you're like, please, no thank you.
Okay, so I have a short story about my manager from hell. I worked at this daycare at a country club when I was in college, and so it was nice because I got paid well, and I also got good babysitting gigs out of it. But this manager, she wanted to spread drama so much. Like, she would talk to me, and I did not talk back about this. Mm-hmm. She would talk to me about the assistant manager, how she didn't like her, and all the drama in her family. And then when this manager chose to leave, she had a goodbye party, or goodbye dinner, and she invited me, and she started to try, spread all these rumors about everybody else. I'm like, why did you choose me as this person to put all this onto me? And I just didn't like the drama.
Yeah, those people love drama.
Yeah, exactly. So last one we're going to do here, it's Christmas music season. You like Christmas music. Travis, Patrick Cap.
Fact, mostly. I like it during a very small window of Christmas, which is a week or so, right? Like a week before and a few days after, sure, why not? Let's hear Mariah Carey and let's hear Jingle Bells and all of the songs that we know, Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby. I'm in for it. Let's do it. But when you start it the day after the 4th of July and I get inundated with it, I don't have a ton of time for it. But in small doses, absolutely yes.
I'm fact on this, and it's got its window. So I like when during Halloween, there's a lot of movies on that are obviously Halloween themed. Okay, cool. We're leading up to Halloween.
I love Christmas movies.
Christmas movies.
Yeah, they're great.
That's nice. It's in that pocket. It's window. Maybe you're coming close to 4th of July, and there's whatever themes are there. I'm good with it with the theme. Just don't draw it out too long. Don't do anything after, and get it in and get it out, because if not, it's just going to get annoying.
Yeah, it becomes annoying wallpaper, which I absolutely do not need. Emily has a good idea. If you had the manager from hell, by the way, I don't think anybody can top the bring your dead dog to work and then I'll give you the day. That has to be fake, right? That has to be fake.
What are we doing here?
Not at the Olive Garden. Come on.
Did you?
Impossible that guy still has it.
Emily, did Taylor's old manager send you that story from the bottom of a news story along the way?
Yeah, she texted me directly.
One of those things. But if you got one, go ahead and fire it off. 877-710-ESPN. 877-710-ESPN. Lakers are going to be very shorthanded tonight, but we changed our tune anyway. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. 1971, long time ago, not that long ago. It's the year that I was born, but it's 51 years, right? 51 years. That's how long that Rotolo Chevrolet has.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPNLA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPNLA app.
Download the new ESPNLA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
El Padrino says to avoid conversation, just have your headphones in when you get there.
But then they can't cut your hair. I mean, I guess they are the AirPods.
That's
AirPods
aggressive.
Or any
but here's the thing.
headphones not over your head.
He's walking in blind on this,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know.
Because he's never. Again, if he goes back to her, and now it's on you, because you know that's what she's going to bring to the table.
Right.
Sometimes you walk into somebody, you're trying to just be nice. You don't know that $1.15 is going to be lost just by trying to get your hair cut.
Right. No, I mean, I had tamales sitting in the car that Laura's mom made me. I was so excited to eat them. But they're sitting there in the car because I'm sitting in an hour getting my hair cut. And she was doing like little bits at a time and then stopping.
Then she had to talk. Yeah, then she had to.
Oh, it was
You should have told her you had tamales in the car.
I know, I should have.
That's enough. Right
Oh, that's
there.
another half-hour conversation.
I would have given
about
her
tamales.
one. And maybe that would have sped things up a little bit.
Is she was a talker with her hands.
Oh, talker with her hands.
And because she was using her hands, she couldn't talk.
Of course
So
not.
then she had to stop cutting so then she could do it.
But it was like every other second. It was so frustrating.
What-
it was a bad. Yes,
what's
Travis,
your-
we're still talking about the hair.
I'm glad you're working through it. You should go make her sit in your office today, and then you can work through your issues with her, and then you guys are even.
I don't have any issues outside of you guys, so
We've been bad on the clock today, Berg. I was kind of hoping you'd come in here mad, and then I could just kind of shrug my shoulders. What are you gonna do?
That dude got fired, by the way, from Olive Garden, so that's good to know.
That is good.
That's a real story?
Real story.
Okay. Yeah, that's a monstrous behavior. Look, I get it. People lie about getting days off, right? It happens all the time.
Sure.
I need a day because you want to go to the beach or you want to go just lay in bed all day or whatever it is, but you can't turn around and say, I don't believe you bring your dead dog to work.
That's not
It's
okay
insane.
in the slightest.
Listen, I mean, the email just says we are no longer tolerating any excuse for calling off. If you're sick, you need to come prove it to us. If your dog died, you need to bring him in and prove it to us. If it's a family emergency and you can't say too bad, go work somewhere else. That's it's really
yeah,
going to go
Olive
well.
Garden putting the.
That's really going to go.
the
That's
line
going to
down.
go well. That's good too when you put it in email.
Yeah,
that's also a really good
Weird
idea
spot
that you
to
send to
put
all
it.
your
Yeah.
employees.
No, is that the note that he sent to those
Attention
employees?
all team members.
No, he's trying to get fired.
Attention.
Now I've gone from the it's fake to it's real, but it was done with. You're trying to get fired when you put that together.
Attention, manager, I quit. I'm out.
Come on.
See ya.
But we got someone on the line though, Jason in Monrovia, that wants to weigh in on his bad manager.
Let's do it, Jay. What do you got for us?
So, my previous manager, where I'm working now, I remember. So when I first started working for the company, my daughter's high school graduation came up like 2 weeks after, and he didn't want to let me go to my daughter's high school graduation. Not only that, he lied to his supervisor about something that happened. He lied on me to his supervisor about something that he did to try to make me look bad and make him look good. And the last thing he did, me and him both went out for the same job promotion. And in his interview, he told the interview people that I had an attendance issue, which I didn't have, so he can get the job over me. But I got promoted over him.
Well, see, that's the thing. Thank you, Jason. That if you are a saboteur like Jay's manager is, that stuff comes out in the wash. You have to be really sophisticated to be able to execute that and not just blatantly make some stuff up. You got what you deserve, Jay. You got the promotion. He did not. You win. Now you should start making stuff up about the other guy.
Very charismatic.
There's a solution.
Payback always feels better after you the other guy missed, and you get to really turn the screw.
The best way to get the payback is be like, I mean, I kind of told you this was how it was going to go. When you tell him, like, hey.
Tried to help you.
I tried to help you, but look.
That's my favorite.
I'm not going to say anything bad, but I kind of said something before.
You're right about that. How about this one? This is from Steve Kane. No, it can't be the same Steve Kane. I have a follow-up question. I had a teammate named Steve Kane a million years ago.
It's the same one.
Is it?
I think so.
Do you know? How do you know that?
I have no idea who that
is.
is.
Okay. If it's you, Kane, what's up, bud? Long time no talk.
Unfounded evidence, Berg.
Yeah. Why are the Dodgers operating like a small market team, no free agent pickups? Do they not see the team's needs like pitching in a big bat? All right. We can start this right here, Berg, with you. And I think, hold on. It's not over. This is not over yet. There's a lot of time between now and the start of spring training. The Dodgers will make a move or two, I believe. I don't know how big of a move it'll be, but I think they'll do some stuff. The other part is, I'm telling you, I'm just looking at the lay of the land. I think that they are going to do everything that they possibly can to make Ohtani a Dodger. And so are some other teams, don't get me wrong. But I think that if they're saving money, if they're saving space, if they're saving whatever it is that they think they need to save to get Ohtani, we'll wait on Bogarts. We'll wait on Swanson. We'll wait on players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to offer a ransom for Shohei Ohtani. And if that's what they're doing, I love it. I love it. Just keep your powder dry and wait and go big on the best player in baseball.
What if it's – look, there's some risk to that. And, by the way, we have no idea that would be the case. What if it's not the case? So let's just take that one out of the way because you don't know what Ohtani's decision is going to be. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Maybe they do something at the trade deadline where the Angels decide let's get as much as we can. Maybe a new owner comes in and tries to convince Ohtani, I've done it somewhere else. Give me a second to kind of get this thing going. There's a lot of factors that can come into play for the Dodgers to go get Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, look, what you're saying, that's their superstar And then there's something above superstar.
That's him.
He kind of fits that mold. That's
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get a
You
bigger
save.
player in baseball than that. But let's just say that you don't have control over that. What if it's just the mere fact that it's we're not going to go spend that much on Verlander. No, we're not going to go. Aaron Judge got more interest. It was in the Giants and the Yankees. He went to the Yankees. What if they don't add any other pieces? What if this is kind of what you got?
I think the answer is really simple. They have earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to putting their team together. They have not missed when they're aggressive when it's time to be aggressive. They're cautious when it's time to be cautious. They will spend money. They are not cheap. They're willing to go over the threshold when they think it's the right thing to do. They went huge with Mookie. They went huge with Freddie Freeman.
Yep.
They are not a miserly franchise. They spend money when they want to spend money. Andrew Fried, put their postseason record aside, which is difficult to do. No one has been better at spending their money wisely than the Dodgers have. And not like bargain basement stuff, some of that, but they spend money like
Combination
crazy.
of the both, actually.
I don't think that they obviously have not seen something that they had to have. There's some things that maybe we'd like to have under our terms, but I think that the best thing you can say about the Dodgers under Andrew Friedman is that they really have not missed. They've made some mistakes because you don't bat 1,000, but man, have they been good about building a roster. I will give them the benefit of the doubt year after year after year, seeing what they've done.
Totally agree, and they're going after guys like Betts and Freeman that they bring in, but
Yep.
then they also still build from within. Their minor league system is fantastic. Miguel Vargas was getting time. James Outman was fantastic in the time that he played, and he was really good in AAA. You'll probably see him come up, but that's like you. But I'm trying to agree with you, Travis, in that if everything stayed the same as it is right now, those guys would come up and they would probably produce because they held on to them for a reason.
If they think they'll be good enough, they'll be good enough.
But
exactly.
I will say, and I can't really argue with that, but I will tell you the reality. Their team is not as good as it was a year ago, just based on who they lost.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Based on who they lost, and
pitching staff is still really good.
It does seem that gap that they have in the NL West is a little bit smaller. Now, what they end up doing, like you guys just mentioned, but that's why I'm asking the question is, let's say there is no big splash. That could happen. There could be no splash this summer.
That's because they don't want it.
Right.
I really believe that.
Or
do you
it
consider
just didn't,
Bogarts
or,
a splash if that's where they go?
Yeah,
definitely.
That's a splash?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so.
I mean, he's not going to get as much as Turner
No,
or
but he's a
Verlander
really good player.
Just compare, when you say if they don't go out and get a splash, just compare the roster that they had. Trey Turner is no longer on this team, so keep that one in mind, right? The Cody Bellinger thing, I was fine with. I've been mentioning it. It is what it is.
I think it's a win for everybody.
Tyler Anderson had a really good season last year. You're going to need somebody else to step into that role.
Sure.
Roster's a little bit different. That's all I'm saying. That it's just it's different than it has been in the past because these past couple off seasons, it has been Freddie Freeman. It has been the trade for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. They've done a great job. They just haven't added anybody, which is a little bit different than what the Dodgers have done in the past.
I want to add one other thing to this conversation that I don't think we've mentioned that we'll do when we come back on the other side. One other quick thing, though. That is my old teamate, Steve Kane. What up,
It was?
Steve? Yeah,
See?
I
Emily,
looked at his
doubted
little
me.
avatar, and that's definitely him. He was bald then, and he's bald now. So nice to see that some things stay the same.
See, I knew it, Trav.
See, Kane, I used to have hair when we knew each other. Now I'm as bald as he is.
Well, 'cause
so
you got a bad
We
haircut.
can get. Well, it was before that. I was bald before. Now I'm just a balding man with a terrible haircut. But at least the lady didn't chit chat my ear off like your friend Barbara.
So frustrating.
All right.
It was awful.
Listen up. All
Samantha,
week
by the way.
long, we are going to be giving away sweet passes to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. The game is coming up. It is on Saturday, December 17th at SoFi Stadium. And if you call right now, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776, caller number 10 wins 4 sweet passes to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stiefel. Tickets are on sale right now. They're starting as low as $35. You visit labowlgame.com for more information. That's labowlgame.com.
The
Go Gigante. Plus, some Dodgers have left. But why would you leave Dave Roberts? Anyway, but I also want to talk about yesterday's debate on the show. It's infiltrated with fire. The Travis and Sliwa program, along with the Rogers household, about your streaming platforms, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Apple Music. Producer Emily especially was fired up about this, so I just want to play a few highlights from yesterday's show.
Pandora doesn't even have any podcasts. Okay, so Alan,
So I don't use Pandora for podcasts. I use YouTube. I use YouTube.
Why do you use
Because
YouTube for podcasts?
This is unbelievable.
It's an audio medium.
It's so good, and I hope it continues today.
Glad I brought it up.
But then it's like
You do understand something, Emily.
You drive with your video going at the same time.
Yes.
Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday right now.
So the better part of a day later, Emily, have you kind of gotten back in a better spot? Are you more open to the possibility that maybe there are more ways to listen, more ways than one?
Wait. Before you answer the question, what do you think her answer would be on that?
I'm curious to find out.
Also, have you changed you haven't changed your mind a single bit about any sort of musical platforms, right?
Couldn't have less interest.
I think I am I think I'm more on the side of Sophia now. Me and her are just going to get more and more radicalized. This is what's happening to us. We're only like looking at media from our own perspective, and we're only talking to each other. So I think that's why we're getting so radicalized. I am never going to budge from this. Spotify for life, guys.
Trav, if you had to pick one, though, you're the tiebreaker here. So
I don't think
Pandora.
I have. I had Pandora at one point in my life.
Before you answer that question, can you know what you're playing first? I really now am curious. When you get in your car, I'm curious what play.
I think
Something's
it is Pandora.
playing.
It might be Pandora.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Which would be
the
so
baseline.
perfect.
How do I search for apps on my phone?
Okay, so
here we go. Here, I
go
found
to the
it.
left.
Yeah, I found that.
Right now.
Okay, let's see if I have.
Open
So-
Internet Explorer and type search for apps.
I have that thing where I had it on my phone because it's trying to reload it when I opened it at that little
So you hadn't- yeah, you
pinwheel.
hadn't
I hadn't
put it on
opened
in a
it
while.
in a million years.
Yep.
So I have that. So do I have Apple Music? I have iTunes. Is that
Yes,
Apple
if,
Music?
If you have Apple Music, if you have an iPhone, you have Apple
awesome.
Music available to you.
So yeah, that. I don't think I have. Hold on, maybe I have Spotify.
Atta
too.
boy, Trav.
Let's see. I guess I'm Apple Music by default.
Proves my point. It's only you men all
don't
have
know.
Apple Music.
I guess. I don't know. I don't really care. I just like seeing people get
Now
fired
that's a
up
good
about
answer.
these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a
no,
good
but it
answer.
is funny that my sister listens to the show all the time. She texted me last night listening to the podcast, which I believe she listens to podcasts on Apple Podcasts, and she also
Turncoat.
she also has Apple Music, and I was like, yeah, shut up, Claire, you can't talk. You're listening to Apple Music, and so. This also reminds me when
Shut up, Claire is a little aggressive. It's
She's
got
my
a
sister.
lot.
She's my sister. But she picked me up from the airport for Thanksgiving when I was sick, and I was getting kind of bored with the music she was playing, so I was like, hey, let me put on a podcast. And so I went to her Spotify because it was on her phone. I typed in the podcast I wanted to listen to it, started playing or whatever. But then she's like, oh yeah, I just listened to all my podcasts on either the ESPNLA app or on Apple Podcasts. I'm like, but then, and she's like, I don't even have Spotify. I'm like, yes, you have Spotify. I played this podcast for you on Spotify. I just don't understand.
Let me ask you something. I don't mean to cut you off, Tom. I'm sorry, but I'm just afraid you're going to have a stroke if you get too worked up about this again.
Strokes are my family.
I'm looking out in your best interest. Do you care about anything as much as she cares about this? Because I don't think that I do. You know, short of my children and my wife, I don't think I really have that level of passion
She's
about
very
anything.
passionate about Spotify. Very, very passionate about
I just
Spotify.
don't understand why she didn't even know she had Spotify on her phone.
What difference does it make? This is the part that I like. I understand that you like it, but why do you care if anybody else does or does not?
Because I think that it justifies it to me. I don't know, guys. This is an existential question that you're asking me. This is what I should ask my therapist.
What do you care the most about? Like, and never mind getting to that level. Like, what's the thing that you will just argue incessantly until the other person goes, fine, you win?
Care most about, your family and
the family
all
aside,
that stuff.
Family aside.
If I'm
like a product,
arguing about something, I gotta think of like what would be a real argument that I've had where I'm overly upset about something, I don't know if I have an answer that's anywhere near some of that passion. I wish I had that passion.
Don't get me started on the Oscars. So this is what I was talking to my roommate about last night. As I was listening to this podcast about the Oscars, and I was like, if this movie wins, I'm gonna throw away my phone or whatever, something like that. And then she and I were talking about it.
Do that.
No, I won't do that. But I'm just saying, I've been told, you get passionate about stuff. Things gonna matter to you.
Can I offer you just a very small bit of advice? You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. So I'm trying to think of something.
Still gonna go.
I'm just no. My name's on the show.
It's gonna be a no.
I'm gonna do it my way. So I care about golf balls, Emily. I have a preference as to the type of golf ball that I like to play. Okay. I will, like, if you say, not that anybody really cares, but I am a Titleist Pro V1 Classic person. That's the one that I like. Okay, whatever. If you play a Callaway or a TaylorMade, I'm going to look at you a little differently because you obviously don't know what you're doing. But
okay.
but I'm not going to berate you for your choice.
Well, here would be the key.
Because what do I care?
Okay,
it doesn't matter to
here's
me.
the key. Here's the key. It can't, you said convince them. I get, I understand if you said, hey, I know you use Pandora, but let me tell you something. Spotify is so much better. Here are some of the reasons why. You got this, you got that, and it's going to curate music this way, and you got this, you got... if you make it more informative, you might convince that person. If you're telling them they're an idiot for using it, you're probably not going to convince that person.
I didn't originally say that someone was an idiot. I was trying to say
Taylor
that I like
is
this
not
better.
an idiot. He just doesn't know anything.
Unhinged.
But no, I get it. But it's more like, if you convinced someone, say you're golfing with your best bud, he uses the other one, and then you're like, oh, you should use Titleist. He uses Titleist. He's like, Travis, you are so right. Titleist is so much better.
I don't get it.
It would make you feel better, right? That you're right. You like
It's not
being
like it's
right,
a mom and
Travis.
pop shop that's going to go out of business if they don't get
Yeah, that's my thing. I get nothing out of it. I'm very comfortable in my rightness when it comes to these things. So it's just, you like it, great. If you don't, then you're wrong. But I'm not gonna yell at you.
I think this is the
Delete
East Coast.
my number yet?
Oh yeah,
delete it. Yeah,
yeah. I already did.
I showed him
I had
how
Emily
to.
come in here and show me how to do it. I couldn't figure it out. But you're gone.
Go on to Internet Explorer
Here's
and
how
say delete Sliwa.
Here's how I know it'll be you, because it's the only person that will show up on
619.
my phone in green. And that's got to be Al, because I've deleted all the other green people in my life. I don't need that. I'm trying to just.
I'm kind of proud. I don't know why, but I'm almost proud in a sense.
Yeah, I'm a phone racist. That if you're green in my phone, you're out. It's just that's
no soup for you.
It's just so unsettling to look at that. But I'm not going to yell at you. I'm just going to fix it on my own end and keep it moving.
No, we yelled at him a little earlier.
All right, don't forget, Kirk and I at the game tomorrow, pregame, the Buffalo Wild Wings Countdown to Kickoff show. We will be on the south end of the stadium, so if you want to come by and say hello, it's a great way to do it. But immediately after the game, we'll be at the Hollywood Park Casino for the Rams postgame show. Immediately after the game, we'll be broadcasting live from the Rays Lounge. You can stop by and pick up a Teza nutrient pouch. Get more focus and energy in your daily life with Teza nutrient pouches. Visit TezaEnergy.com and make your mouth happy. You can use the code ESPNLA25 for 25% off your first purchase. All right, so we were talking about the Dodgers a second ago.
Yeah.
And you bring up some good points about they haven't made the big splash. They've Shelby Miller, they've made moves like that. They've brought some guys back. Andrew Heaney signed with the Rangers yesterday. You mentioned Tyler Anderson. Of course, Trey Turner is gone, and Judge is still in New York, et cetera, et cetera. This is the best compliment I can give the Dodgers, really. Other than their postseason performance, Dodger fans really do not have a viable complaint on how this team is run. They really don't. The ballpark experience is terrific. The product on the field is terrific. They spend a ton of money. They develop their own players. They have stars. They have a winning record. They have all of these things. So
it's a class of Major League Baseball.
It really is.
Everybody's looking up at them and saying, if we could only run our organization like that.
There's nothing that they do other than perform in the playoffs that you can be legitimately you can say, I would have liked to have kept Tyler Anderson, sure. But if they think this is the right move for them, you got to trust them, because they haven't really missed again, nobody bats 1,000. But if they're saying we're not going to 3 years with Tyler Anderson, we're not paying Andrew Heaney that kind of money. We can't go there with Judge. We can't go there with Verlander. We can't go there with whatever the next player might be. Then trust their judgment, because for 10 years they haven't missed a trick.
Correct. But you can't also brush over. And I know you're not trying to. I think you're really just trying to emphasize. It's almost like Dave Roberts when they were selling on, hey, winning 111 games is really, really tough. But you can't brush over the lack of success in the postseason.
No, I'm not.
And I know you're
I'm
not. But what I'm saying is, but when Dodger fans do
but
get
we're having
upset,
the hot stove conversation right now about, hey, why didn't they get this guy or that guy? It's like, guys, trust the process.
You're right, trust the process. But my point is it's not even going out and making a big splash. If the Dodgers came back with the same squad, let's just say Trey Turner re-signed with the Dodgers. Let's say Tyler Anderson. What'd they offer him? 1 year, 20, something like that. And then he went 3 years and
3 years for less average annual value, but some
more
security.
Yeah, I think 40.
By the way,
I think 40
if
is
I were
what he
Tyler
took.
Anderson,
Of course you take
I
it.
might have done that as well.
You don't know if you're going to get another one of those contracts.
You might not be very good either.
Might not be very good either. But I just say that it's not like they're bringing everybody back and saying, guys, we just had a really bad 4 games. We just needed some clutch hits. They missed some pieces. And there has not, at least up to this point, they haven't replaced any of these pieces. They don't have to go out there every summer and go get the biggest free agent, or in the winter. Listen, let me use the Padres as an example. Padres were in the mix. I don't think they were ever going to get Trey Turner because he wanted to go to Philadelphia. And if he wanted to stay out on the West Coast, maybe he's staying with the Dodgers. But they offered
the most money,
a substantial amount of money to say, hey, this is a real deal.
$12 million more than the Phillies.
We want you to come here. It didn't happen. Apparently they were in the mix for Aaron Judge as well. Now, that doesn't mean – I don't think at any moment it would have been by far the most shocking if one of the reporters said that Aaron Judge is signing with the Padres. You'd be like, what the hell? It wouldn't be as big of a surprise as it was with the Giants. Obviously not surprised with the Yankees.
Yeah.
They're going after big names, which is not – it's just not what the Padres do. And I know this short window, you may say, well, what are you talking about? They got this player, Machado, and Tatis. They ended up signing to a big-time deal, and they went out and got Juan Soto. I really think a lot of that has to do with, because the Dodgers have been so great for so long, in order to play at that level, you're going to have to go spend, you're going to have to go do things. With the Dodgers not doing anything and losing a couple guys compared to the Padres, just as an example, a team that gets to kind of come back and try it all over again, and Soto gets a full year, you got to feel a little bit better if you're the Padres, and you got to also, if you're a Dodger fan, saying, well, aren't you going to replace some of these guys that you lost?
I agree with you, but I think what will be interesting is, what does that Tatis deal look like in year 6? What does the Machado deal look like 5 years from now?
I think he has an opt-out at the end of next year.
So what does Aaron Judge 5 years from now, when he's 35 years old and you've got another 4 years to go and he's making $40 million a year, does it look like the Pujols deal? It's not totally out of the question. No guarantee it will. The Dodgers don't really do things like that. They Bryce Harper's a perfect example. The Dodgers wanted Bryce Harper. They offered him, I think it was like $45 million a year. But just for 4 years.
Yeah.
We'll go big. We're not afraid of the money, but we're not giving you – I think Harper got 13 years from the Phillies. I'm sure the Dodgers with Trey Turner offered a ton of money, but they probably stopped short on term or whatever it may have been.
Do we ever know – by the way, do we have any idea?
You can get some reports here or there, but it doesn't sound like – this sounded like what we thought it was all along. He wanted to be
He's
over
going.
there. He wanted to be over there, and I do think I saw something where the situation was – with the Padres money with Turner, if I was going to stay in California, I'd stay with the Dodgers. It's not a matter of that. I want to go over here and be on a really good team and make a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera. Those super long-term deals that we're talking about with all those guys, the Padres have to go, we'll give you 10 years at $40 million apiece, because they have to. It's the only way that they compete. The Dodgers can go crazy dollar number, but a much shorter period of term. And if you say no, we're fine. We're going to find somebody else. We'll develop our own guy. Now, you can't develop a Judge, but I don't want to be the team, and I don't want to be the fan of a team that has Albert Pujols on the books at $30 million a year and he can barely walk. That's what they're going to avoid, and that's what they've done a really good job with.
Yeah, listen, it's more that nothing's happened yet. I know there's a lot of time left. But if the Dodgers didn't make a move, I think it'd be fair for Dodger fans to sit back and say, guys, lost in the first round of the playoffs. Yes, you won 111 games, but you just lost Trey Turner, Tyler Anderson. Kind of go down the list of guys that were key last season. Just at least replace those players.
All right, Baker Mayfield is a member of the Rams. as of yesterday at about this time, Rams have a game tomorrow. Do we see Baker Mayfield against the Raiders? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Travis and Sliwa community writes, it's one thing to be passionate about something. It's another to force people to have the same passion as you and try to convince them that they're wrong and your beliefs are better. This is unhealthy.
We should talk politics. We should have a nice casual conversation.
Spotify on.
about our upcoming elections.
Yeah. Spotify Anon's pretty good.
That little news blurb they give her every morning in her curated, they're just
it's just Spotify
subliminal
propaganda.
messages.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Praise be to God to Spotify. Good morning.
James writes, how would Trav feel if he showed up with my driver having no cover while crushing, I should say, 18 hitting neon Zrixon golf balls? In that scenario, James, you and I would not play golf together. But in the event that I got stuck with you, I would judge you silently. I would keep it to myself. I would like, what? Really? Those? All right. I mean, do your thing, but I'm not going to go. I'm radicalized.
Well, here's
like
the difference.
Emily.
Here's the difference with the golf analogy that you're talking about. That you're that passionate about something like that. Like I was surprised that you mentioned golf was kind of coming into that. What if I just don't golf enough? I just don't know.
That's fine.
Right? So I have no idea. I have clubs that I think I've had since 97.
That's fine. But but that's what I mean. I'm not going to try to change your mind or to drag you to Roger Dunn to buy a new set. I don't care what you have. What I'm saying is I know who you are by what you have. That's what I'm saying.
You know that person doesn't golf a lot,
doesn't care about it, and so I'm not going to try to.
Are you more judgmental in that situation if it's a real golfer, somebody that golfs all the time?
So that's a different scenario where if that guy is trying to tell me things about that particular category, no, we're not doing that. Then we're
and he's with you. He golfs a ton. Like, would John know what you're talking about?
1,000%. 1,000% he would.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
It's like showing up to a basketball pickup game with cleats or something.
Not far off. Not far. That would be kind of fun to watch. Baker Mayfield, I think, will have the right footwear on. I think that he will have a set of Rams cleats when he takes the field, or at least walks into the stadium tomorrow night against the Raiders for Thursday Night Football. Just gut feeling. Do you think we see him take a snap tomorrow night? I don't. I really want to, but I don't think we'll see it.
Based kind of on what DeMarco was talking about, yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he does get in the game. And, this is so different. The scenario for the Rams is so different. It's not, we haven't had a Sean McVay era where the games don't matter anymore. I understand what DeMarco was trying to say. No, you're trying to win. That's your number one priority. I get that. I understand the talk of that. That is not the number one priority. It can't be the number one priority. I think it does have to be, you're assessing who can I use next year, who can I not. It's like telling in the NBA a team that you're a lottery team. I'm just curious to know who can be potentially part of this roster, which is still very important for the following year.
Yeah.
But to get a W, I don't know how important that is.
It's on the list, but it's not number one on the list. That's for sure. I'm with you on that. That winning tomorrow night's game against the Raiders is not the number one priority when they take that field. As discipline, because look, here's where we are.
It's the nature of it.
This is a team that won the Super Bowl last year.
Yep. In February.
That has had 5 consecutive seasons under Sean McVay where they were either excellent, very good, or pretty good. That's the variance you've had under Sean McVay. You've never had bad.
You've never had mediocre.
No, you haven't had mediocre. This is the first time you've been below pretty good and you're pretty bad.
Yeah.
This is a 3-9 team. But as long as guys are going out there and playing, this is a violent sport. You have to respect the guys that are going out there, and you have to at least try to compete. I'm not saying it's your number one priority, but I think it's on the list. I want to see it, for just entertainment value. I think it would be really interesting.
It'd be something different
to see what a guy looks like who just walked. I don't want to say walked in off the street, but
kind of
sort of walked in off the street and said, "Okay, you're playing quarterback tonight in the NFL." You never mind the plays. Does he know anybody's name? Does he even know the guys in the huddle with him? It would be a bizarre moment. I do think that starting a week from Monday, when that's their next game, that's their Week 15 game, they'll play the Packers on Monday Night Football in Green Bay. That's when Baker Mayfield will have had 10 or 11 days to get ready, to learn the offense, to learn the system, et cetera, et cetera. That's when you start to see, never mind the winning, is this the best option we could have as our number 2 quarterback? Matthew Stafford's the quarterback. I mean, he just won the Super Bowl a year ago. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league that's kind of in that second tier, right? There's Mahomes and Allen, and then when you go in that second group, he's in that group. Mayfield is not. But in a weird way, I know he's been unsuccessful. I know that there are a lot of problems with how he plays. But isn't this the best version of a backup quarterback, a former starter who has some ability, who has some experience, that if I need to play a month with this guy, I can at least hope to split some of these games? Isn't that what you're looking for?
Would you be surprised that Baker Mayfield had some success with the Rams? Would you be surprised?
Okay, can I get cute?
Let me see if I want to phrase this properly. In a backup role, just the remainder of this season, would you be surprised if he had some success with the Rams?
Yes, but not for the reason that you might be thinking.
Okay, what do you think?
I would be surprised if he had success, not because I don't think he can be successful for the Rams. He doesn't have any players out there with him. You're asking him to go find success in a situation where I don't think Josh Allen has success with these guys. I don't think if you put Patrick Mahomes behind that offensive line,
there's nothing connected
with those running backs and those wide receivers right now, I don't think anybody's doing anything. So I don't think that he's going to be successful in a, hey, he threw 3 touchdowns tonight. Hey, he threw for 320 yards. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be, does he fit in? Does he understand your culture? Is he a guy that's willing to accept the back? That's the success that I think you're looking for from him. And is he starting to grasp your concepts? Is he starting to grasp the we, not me? You know, all of the things that Sean McVay preaches. I think that's the measure of success, because Matthew Stafford didn't have success with this team. Team's bad. They're banged up. Guys are hurt. Guys are underperforming. There isn't a person on earth that has success with those other 10 guys.
What I was trying to lean more towards is he's coming to a franchise that knows what they're doing. He's coming to a coach that knows what he's doing. He's coming to a situation. Listen, I don't want to try to. You're 2,000%. They haven't clicked. Game 1 against the Buffalo Bills, that's when pieces started falling apart, and it never finished.
From the opening night.
But he takes me as somebody that isn't it got to be kind of a little bit refreshing to come play for the Los Angeles Rams, come play for Sean McVay. Now, I don't think any of the stuff that you're talking about is going to get corrected, but can he have some success here? I think he might be able to have some success. Those determining factors you're talking about, you're right. Nobody control that. Guys that are not in.
He's not.
You're missing key players. And you there's always going to be a question of, do you have a line? Do you have backs that you could depend on? Do you have a dual threat? And the answer is most likely no.
This is about as difficult a situation as you could put anybody in. I think it's far more important that when you go around the locker room a month from now and you pull a guy, Sean McVay, say pulls in Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford. Hey, tell me what you think about this guy. Does he fit in around here? Is he one of us? And if they go, you know what? Yeah. I think that's a huge success. But if they go, I don't know, man, then you're like, cool, move on. And that's why I liked what they did. There's no risk here.
No, there isn't.
There's literally no risk. It's a penny slot. You drop in a penny, which is about the $1 million they're paying him.
Yeah.
And if it hits, great. You got it for nothing. And if it doesn't, send him on his way. Move it along from there. Now, if he is as difficult as reports have been, he won't fit in. OBJ was difficult until he got here. He was like, I love that guy, right? There are Jalen Ramsey. Oh, my God, the guy won't shut up. He says all these things. He's been great as a Ram. Bring him in, see what happens.
And maybe, for him, this is your opportunity, right? Can you change a little bit of your perception? Can Baker Mayfield find himself kind of, this is a tryout gig, even if it's not for the Rams, could be for another team next year.
Do we know enough about the Lakers to determine are they in it or not? That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, coverage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup on ESPNLA is presented by Estrella Jalisco. Stay tuned to ESPNLA every night for the Road to the Cup show hosted by the voice of LAFC, Dave Denholm. Dave gives you a deep dive into the World Cup's most exciting matchups, in-depth analysis of all the action in Qatar, and all the drama that is the world's game. Estrella Jalisco, proud supporters of Team Mexico. Enjoy your World Cup with an Estrella Jalisco beer in hand. Enjoy responsibly. Estrella Jalisco, St.
During this holiday season, ESPNLA and Subaru are partnering with the Folds of Honor Foundation for our inaugural Long Drive-a-thon event. Proceeds raised will provide scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled military and first responders. Our Long Drive-a-thon event is taking place on Friday, December 9th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. If you'd like to participate and support the Folds of Honor, go to blackgoldgolf.com. That's blackgoldgolf.com. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
So I have a tweet from Big E. He tweets at me and says, "Does M go door to door on Saturdays trying to convert non-Spotify users? I'm definitely a Spotify evangelist." Hey, knock, knock, knock. Have you heard the good word about Spotify? Let me see your phone. I can download it for you. You're all good. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's always a weird moment. First of all, knock on the door on a Saturday at 10:30.
Hey, come on in.
This is not going to go well.
Good to see you.
This is not going to go well. Who's knocking on my door at 10:30?
Want to watch the World Cup?
Because anybody that's
USA.
coming over kind of says, "Hey, Trav, I'm going to swing by real quick. I'm going to drop something off. I'm going to, whatever." Just the random. It's like, uh-oh, this is bad.
Also a question.
By the way, does that still happen?
It does. It does in my neighborhood.
Yeah. When you go to a friend's house, do you knock and wait for them to open the door, or do you always just like kind of go? If it's a party, if it's something where like you're expected to come at a certain time and you're good friends with them, do you just go straight in?
Party, you knock and open the door simultaneously, and then you kind of, hey, hey, hello, everybody. You kind of announce your presence, but if you invited me to dinner at your place, Al, which I'm not worried about ever actually happening,
because you don't have the number.
I'm also not worried about the barbecue at your house.
If you did that, I would knock on your door and wait for you to answer it. I would not just walk into your.
I usually always go to the backyard. I go to the screen door back there.
Go to the back door.
I go to the screen door. very quietly.
Because you're a spy.
There is a weird, so have you ever been sitting in the living room or the kitchen or whatever, and someone is, like a meter reader or somebody is back there all of a sudden?
Yeah,
that is
happened.
terrifying. It's like it's a home invasion, only the guy's there to just see how many kilowatts you're using.
Some people,
it's bizarre.
People, so I don't know if you guys remember this from when you guys helped me move in. Again, thank you again. But there's someone,
I forgot about that. You should bring more pizza to remind me of what a nice day that was.
But we have a separate unit in the backyard, and 2 guys live back there. But I sometimes forget that people live back there, and I'll just see someone walking up my driveway or going to the backyard, and I'm like, oh, it's just that.
Yeah, I don't like that. The backyard is a place where only familiar faces should be. Lakers tonight against the Raptors. I've got it right finally. It's against the Raptors.
You really wanted that game yesterday.
I had to stop and tell Cleveland last night, Raptors tonight. Even as I was watching, I'm like, those are weird Raptor uniforms. Why is Donovan Mitchell
got traded to the Raptors?
It was bizarre. They lost, whatever. AD's sick, and, they lost.
They were in, I will say, fourth quarter, 92-92 without Anthony Davis, and then just Cleveland went on a run.
Yeah,
that was ball
look,
game.
Cleveland's a good team. Lakers are, in the midst of a long road trip. But I think what happens from here on out is kind of interesting. No AD tonight. He's not going to play. No LeBron tonight. He's not going to play.
Wenyen being reevaluated in a week, and then Pat Beverly.
Is he officially out or still doubtful?
Doubtful.
Still doubtful.
I didn't see anything else.
You're missing some guys, and you're playing against a good team, and it's the second end of a back-to-back. This is kind of setting up for a result that I think we probably are likely to see, right, where they lose a second consecutive game. Does it matter? I don't want to say that's the wrong question. Does it change the way you feel about this? Having seen what we've seen for a couple of weeks, most specifically, having seen Anthony Davis look the way that he's looked for a couple of weeks, or is it more back into this, all right, here we go again, in and out of the lineup, guys are not healthy, guys are nursing injuries, and now we're just going to kind of go back to we'll see what we get on any given night.
So I think if you asked me the same question and AD didn't go up against the Bucks, he didn't have that game against Milwaukee, and the Lakers didn't have a matchup against the second-best team in the Eastern Conference, they hadn't played Milwaukee, I would tell you I still am not sure what the Lakers are. I'm not trying to make a case Lakers are going to go make a championship run. But the loss to Cleveland yesterday was disappointing. It was only disappointing because I just want to see how the Lakers would have done against the Cavs on the road. That's it. No other reason, no other details other than that. The game against the Raptors tonight, I'm obviously going to expect them to lose. But it does not change that they won 8 of 10, and you're feeling good about that team. And you're coming off what Anthony Davis has done over these last 10 games. That part hasn't changed for me. Now, if I'm already kind of starting to target that game on Friday against Philly.
Yep.
Because you got to imagine AD's probably back by then.
3 games in 4 nights.
3 games. That's right. 3 games
That's
in 4
tough.
nights. Bron probably back as well. Whatever, I know Wenyen won't be there, but that's okay. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis. You go out and beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Doesn't that just kind of continue our conversation, even though you got those 2 losses, but AD and Bron weren't a part of, or AD wasn't a part of both of them. Bron wouldn't have been a part of one of them.
I think it's another data point, right? It's another thing that you put into the equation and try to figure out if this is a good team or not. Because them winning 8 out of 10, I didn't think this team was good enough to win 8 out of 10, even if they were playing the Washington Generals 10 times, right? I didn't think that they were that level. They just did it. So, okay. The win against Milwaukee, there are 2 ways to look at it. That their best is as good as anybody's. Milwaukee's one of the best teams in the league, and Milwaukee played pretty well that night. Lakers just beat them, which is incredibly...
Yeah, Giannis had 40.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. There's also the Lakers may have played their best game of the season, and we might not see it again.
And that's okay.
That's not out of the question either.
Can I tell you that's okay, right?
It is okay.
To have that thought process.
Sure.
I see where you're coming from.
Look, they lost 10 out of 12.
Mm-hmm.
They won 8 out of 10. They also lost 10 out of 12. So I don't know what it is. I need more. And if they go into Philadelphia and look like something closer to what we saw in Milwaukee, then the needle kind of moves more toward, hey, this is a pretty good team. And if it looks more like we've seen otherwise, like, yeah, that Milwaukee thing feels more and more like a fluke than it does that they got something figured out. I need more. I need to see more Milwaukee's, Philadelphia's, Boston's. Don't have to, like I said to you before the Milwaukee game, they don't necessarily have to win to be the best, but if they play the way they played in Milwaukee and lose to Philly by 5 points, all right, that's great. I mean, better to win, but I'm here for that. You go and play the Celtics when they come back home, and you play like that, and you lose by a bucket. Okay, because you're not going to get much better competition than that. If they just go through the motions and get blown out, if they lose by 18 and the game's never, and Anthony Davis misses some games because he's sick or he's hurt, and LeBron James is, then we're right back to where we were before. I need more. I don't know what this team is.
Your original question was, is it a big deal that they lost to Cleveland yesterday, and if they lose to Toronto tonight? I don't think it is. I think it's just the nature of what's happened these last couple of days. Now, regroup, hopefully, and everybody's back there against Philly. If you win, just hypothetically here, you beat the Philadelphia 76ers on Friday. LeBron and Anthony Davis are there. Trav, you got a chance to go 4-2 on this road trip. All right, if you lost to the Philadelphia 76ers and they're both there, that would be a little disappointing. You still got a chance to go 3-3 on this road trip, which I think anybody would have signed up for.
Yeah, 3-3. I don't care if the three were Cleveland, Detroit, and somebody else. Fine. They've got a great win on this trip. 3 wins is a great trip. Very quickly, Slee, there's more Rams news here. Aaron Donald will not play tomorrow night. So there was some question about whether he's going to go. That makes 2 weeks in a row after never missing a game because of injury. So make of that what you will. Traven Howard out. Terrell Lewis out. David Long out. Brandon Powell, who gets a lot of touches for this team all of a sudden. He's questionable for the game. And then Troy Hill, who's a starting defensive player for pretty good defense, questionable for the game. So this is where we are. Baker Mayfield aside, you're still going to see a skeleton crew of players against the Raiders.
Do you think as the season goes on, guys like Jalen Ramsey, you think they do anything there?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. In the immortal words of Allen Iverson, for who, for what?
Yeah.
Right? At some point, you're playing for 2023. I don't need to evaluate Jalen Ramsey. I don't need to evaluate Bobby Wagner. I need to evaluate, Darian Kendrick. I need to evaluate, Kobe Durant. I need to evaluate, take your pick, Taylor Rapp. Like these guys that I need to make decisions on some of these guys. Why put them in the line of fire? It sucks. If I were a paying customer, I would hate what I'm hearing right now. Yep. But I mean, for who, for what?
Do you remember this? A few weeks ago, we were talking about it. When we basically thought, like, guys, it's a wrap. They're not going to make the playoffs, right? So you don't even have to be in a 6-game losing streak to determine that. You could be in a 3-game losing streak to determine that. And we were already asking ourselves, well, what are they going to do? They're going to sit these guys out for 8 or 9 weeks? Come on, that can't happen. And now we're sitting here kind of getting closer to the season ending, but you're still pretty far away from the season ending.
It's 5 now. Mm-hmm. And after tomorrow night, it will be 4. Mm-hmm. And then you're basically like, okay, it's over anyway, even though you got a month's worth of games.
But we've been having that conversation when there was 8 or 9 weeks left, which is pretty insane.
And you just gotta get to the finish line, see what could happen. The Dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
During this holiday season, ESPNLA and Subaru are partnering with the Folds of Honor Foundation for our inaugural Long Drive-a-thon event. Proceeds raised will provide scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled military and first responders. Our Long Drive-a-thon event is taking place on Friday, December 9th at Black Gold Golf Club in Yorba Linda. If you'd like to participate and support the Folds of Honor, go to blackgoldgolf.com. That's blackgoldgolf.com. Love, it's what makes Subaru.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Just burn the living hell out of my mouth. Yes.
Yeah. But so you were.
The center was frozen, and I was going on the outside.
Pop one in, eat your Hot Pocket, let the middle thaw, and then eat the last couple of bites.
Hot Pockets were amazing.
All right, then you might like this. Hot Pocket has developed cargo shorts that keep food warm with an insulated pocket, a literal hot pocket, which is awesome. What I need to know is, can I put something that isn't a Hot Pocket in there?
Can you put a burrito in there?
Warm?
Can you put chicken tenders in there?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. So, my older sister Claire, that I've mentioned a couple times on the show today, she has had this idea for so long that she brings up kind of like when she's a little drunk or whatever. This is her Shark Tank idea. It's a pocket tot. So it's like you have your shirt.
What?
Tot.
Okay.
So you have your shirt, your whatever, with a pocket inside that's insulated and has like. You can put potato tots in there, so you have hot and ready tater tots whenever you want to go. This is what Claire wants with her life.
How is that not on Shark Tank?
Exactly.
How is Mark Cuban not saying to himself, if I don't invest in this, I'm missing out on the opportunity?
So now I said this to her, and she's like, "They stole my idea."
Is awesome.
I have a lot of questions. Let me start with this. How often is your sister eating tater tots that she needs a very specific tater tot pouch to keep them warm?
Very often.
Yeah, and enough that she would really enjoy doing work and not having to get up and having her tot right there.
Hand to God, this is the truth. I had tater tots last night, right? Got the bag, put them in the oven. We had them. I made burgers at home, had some tots. We had burgers and tots. I'm a fan.
Great.
I eat them 5 times a year. Like,
what
I don't
a loser.
need a special pocket for them. That being said, is this out of necessity, or was this just a cute name? Because Pocket Tot's kind of a cute little name.
Yeah.
Could I put regular French fries in there? Or is
Yeah,
it
I mean,
specifically for tater tots.
It's just the size in which, a French fry might stick out. Chicken
Right,
nuggets would do well, I think.
Pocket. Remember, it's a pocket here, so.
Does it zip? Does it button? Does it snap? What are we talking about?
Her idea would have been, how sometimes like the preppy people have like the pocket on their shirt.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. It's just that it's a little open, but I think it would be a zipper so that it could keep it insulated. Obviously, if it's
Any
open at the
idea
top,
of
it's
how
not
many
insulated.
tater tots that it can hold?
I would.
Is it
I would
10 at a time?
Probably 10.
Is it
I
10
think
at a
10,
time?
but depending on the size of the tot.
10's not enough.
It's kind of ripping off Napoleon Dynamite, too.
I agree. By the way, 10 is not enough.
It's not enough.
But 20 at a minimum,
But this
right?
is like on the go, like you're catching a
Go for a
bus, you're
run?
catching going for a run at the subway station. You just had tots ready to go.
You're at the bank. You're giving your debit card. It's just all oil.
Just wait a second, I got a tot ready to go.
Yes. How much money does she need? I'll chip in some. I can't fund the whole thing myself.
It's
but
for 10% equity.
Yeah,
and
I would like to.
$100,000.
I will buy a piece of the cup. Ask Claire what I can get for $25.
Okay, I'll
see what comes back.
60% of the company.
That's a mirror. Larry Bird turns 66 years old today. So Larry Bird was my first sports hate. Right? He was the first person that I had an irrational hatred toward because he played for the other team, right? And obviously it was because he was awesome, right? It wasn't. I didn't hate Danny Ainge like that. I hated Danny Ainge, but not like you hated Larry Bird.
Maybe Danny Ainge you could have hated.
No, because Bird was going to beat you by himself. He was that dangerous of a guy. I want to thank Larry Bird for introducing me how much fun it is to hate that. It's super, super fun. And I wish I would have taken just 1% less of it and enjoyed him while he was playing, because I could never get over it. I could never get over how much I hated him. He was amazing. He was
Is it fair to say he's one of those players, and I think most Laker fans, if you hated him back in the day, like most Laker fans would, today, and even over the last 20 years, it's not the same. And you can actually go back and watch his highlights minus him playing the Lakers and say, oh, no, I'm okay with this guy. Like, I have a
visceral reaction to it.
For me, you know who that is, and if we're just going to stay NBA and we're going to stay, I know the window like it was in the Showtime era, I couldn't stand Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still can't stand Paul Pierce, but I could go watch Larry Bird in the three-point contest, tell everybody else who's coming in second, keep his warm-up on, hit the final shot, and walk away and be like, yeah, that's Larry Bird.
You got to keep in mind, there was a game a week on, and it was always the Lakers or the Celtics. Those were the only two teams that they would put on CBS. That was it. Once in a blue moon, you'd get a Sixers game. Once in a blue moon, you might get a Houston Rockets game, but very, very rarely. And then when they played each other, it was
when Pelicans played the Hawks in the 80s, were you watching or no?
They would have had to have 9 trillion channels for that game to have been on. Yeah, I mean, that game. Dominique, when he played the Lakers, he was on. When he played the Celtics, they would do that game. But if he was playing the, the Milwaukee Bucks, you weren't getting that game.
You have 2 teams I only want to hear moving forward. The Raptors, and not just the Raptors.
The Bullets?
The Bullets. Yeah, not the Wizards.
You get a little Wes Unseld on the Bullets back in the day. That was a fun way to do it. Aaron Judge was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. I'm a baseball person. I think that I was the one kind of bemoaning the fact that Aaron Judge's home run chase was not garnering the attention that I would have liked to have seen it, but I understand why. It seems like an odd choice to me. Good guy, great player, but baseball's, I don't want to say niche, but it's...
Doesn't play for the Yankees or the Dodgers, probably not Athlete of the Year.
Yeah, for sure.
The fact that he carried... Listen, you're right that people weren't going out of their way, and it wasn't the Barry Bonds, that era where everyone was just stopping, or Sammy Sosa stopping what they were doing to watch it. But still got a lot of attention. Just the attention is different now.
And who else would be the Athlete of the Year?
The attention now is social. The attention now is like you're seeing everything on Twitter before you're seeing it on ESPN or sports or anything like that. Steph's actually that's a good one.
I think SI gave Steph the Sportsman of the Year award. I think he got.
But I'm sure he's gotten it a bunch of times. And if I'm gonna go back and think of like a Steph year, it's not this year. But if I go back and think of like an Aaron Rodgers year, it's
this
year.
year.
I don't know.
Yeah,
about that.
I'm with you. I think this was his kind of coming out party, cold-blooded in the finals MVP.
I want to split the hair a little bit. I don't know if it's coming out because that means I didn't know before. I knew before, but we won the championship because of me.
Yeah, it's solidified.
We won it because of me. It was his first finals MVP. It was him.
He was missing that on his resume.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And this was the time that he kind of carried the whole thing across the finish line. Top boy dog names. Anybody want to take a guess? Rookie is not one of the top 3. Which, by the way, I do really like that name. Max, Charlie, and Cooper. I think I know
Max. I always hear.
And a Cooper.
Max.
I think
I've
heard a lot of. I don't think I've heard any Charlies, but Maxes and Coopers. Female dog names.
Okay.
Luna, Bella, and Daisy. I know a Daisy.
There's
no
a Luna.
Lunas and no
There's
Bellas.
a Luna in our complex.
Yeah, a Luna.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't get it. Is it like for the moon? I don't understand what it means.
I don't know.
Luna? Yeah.
Luna?
Moon.
Yeah,
but it's a cute name, and it's also from Harry Potter. If people like Harry Potter,
could be that. Rookie's not on there.
The rookie should be on there.
Fredo's not on there.
I like it. Fredo should be on there. Mean, both of those are better than Luna, Bella,
who the hell
and
took
Daisy.
This list?
They didn't do it in the 710 offices. That's for sure. The house from Goonies in Astoria sold for a little over $1.5 million after a week after it went on the market. Astoria is Oregon? Yeah, is that where it is? I want to say. Anybody know where Astoria is?
Queens?
I think is it in Queens?
Astoria,
it is in Oregon.
Queens,
yeah. No, but this one
house is in Oregon?
The coastal city.
Were you a Goonies fan, Mace?
It just missed me.
Okay.
We used to show it for midnights at the theaters, and they would pack them in.
It's fun.
Yeah, for a certain generation, Goonies is like just it's you.
It was the sweet spot.
It's like one of those movies you grew up with.
It's one of the movies you grew up with. Even if it's now you're flipping channels and it's on, I'll watch it for a few minutes.
Right,
I want to see Sloth. I want to see the pirate ship.
Yeah,
I want to see what's going on. Still a little Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
Like it. You are a full throat, as they say.
Yes, I am.
And you're ready to go.
Yes,
you
ready.
are healthy and ready to play, unlike 80% of the Rams roster.
Oh, my.
Nobody's playing.
I saw that list, and I just told you guys, I'm like, why not just list the players who are going to play?
Here it is again. Aaron Donald, Traven Howard, Terrell Lewis, David Long, Lance McCutcheon is questionable, as are Powell and Hill. We know there's no Kupp. There's no A'Shaun Robinson. There's no Allen Robinson. There's no Stafford.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think, you got to dig pretty far down the depth chart to figure out who is going to play.
Sean McVay is going to be in Napa. He's out there for a couple, like kind of
Liam
a long
Cohen
weekend.
is going to be coaching tomorrow night.
So, do you think we'll see Baker tomorrow or not?
I think it's too soon.
I think it
Don't
is
you?
too. I do.
It'd be
but
fun.
That's exactly right.
I'd be like, sure, throw him out there.
Why? What's the downside? You don't want to embarrass the guy, obviously.
Yeah, no.
But
but he's been here 10 minutes.
He's been here 10 minutes, but just even being here 10 minutes, does he not give you a better chance to get some stuff done than Bryce Perkins or John Wolford?
Yeah, I thought Wolford was decent in that game on Sunday. Didn't you? What was he, 11 for 26
He was average.
or something?
I'll put it in a letter grade.
Yeah.
I'd give him a C minus.
C minus?
Yeah.
I'd give him a C plus.
I'd give him a C minus.
It was our best loss in a while. He kept us sort of in that game.
It was the best game they played all year, but I think we're judging these on the curve.
Right, sure.
But the 2 picks he threw, the one at the end of the game was like, where in the world
there was
going?
nobody.
And the first one he threw, if he makes a good throw there, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
That there were just 2 really bad mistakes along the way. So I don't know. Mayfield is going to play starting Monday Night Football in Green Bay to the end of the line, assuming health.
That's Mayfield.
He's there the rest of the way.
And by the way, it sets up a fantastic Christmas day. Baker Mayfield versus Russell Wilson. When those two get together.
How the Rams have 5 games left.
Yes.
4 of them are standalone games that are they're the only game on.
Oh.
There's the one coming up tomorrow night.
Yep.
There is Monday Night Football.
Yep.
There is Sunday Night Football against the Chargers, which
brutal.
maybe gets flexed out.
They're going to flex
almost
that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's Christmas against the Broncos, and then you got the last one against
What
the
sucks
Seahawks.
is you can't, it's not like you can't move these games, right? So it's not like in the NBA you're looking at, hey, there's 7 games today.
Right.
Nothing's going to change. They're all on at the same
only
time.
The Sunday one.
The only one you could do is on Sunday, but that's what's kind of sucks. You got, like you said, standalone games and Christmas to have that.
Brutal.
It's a mess. So real quick,
shows you, by the way, the expectations that people had for the Rams.
The league,
the whole league.
The league is because they have 6 standalone games. The NFL backloaded with 4 of them in December and January.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah, I did well.
By the way, if the Raiders don't win tomorrow night, your Raiders, Bergman's Raiders.
Yeah, he's got a bet with DeMarco here, I guess.
Oh, does he?
The only team that the Rams walk out on that field and say we have not that they can't win any of them, but that we got a good chance. It's Denver.
Beat the Broncos.
That's it. Beat Russell Wilson. So
yes,
still alive in the eliminator pool.
It's still going on.
Everybody keeps winning.
All 3 of us are still in.
Wow.
That it just keeps going around.
This has to be
around.
one of the longest that people have survived in the history of that eliminator.
So you know
pool.
how long it's been just 3 people? 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Oh my!
So it's been 6 weeks with just the 3 of us along the way. I'll tell you my pick, and then you guys tell me what you think. Now, keep in mind, I'm down to relatively slim pickings.
And nobody's going to split.
No, I've offered to split every week. But
It's to the death.
I guess so. Tennessee at home against Jacksonville. They just fired their GM. They're coming off of a bad loss to Philadelphia.
That's pretty
They're
good.
back at home.
That's pretty good. At home, Tennessee at home.
Okay, what else
Can you
got?
do better?
Okay, so here are my other options. I could take the Raiders.
No.
I don't think so
I
either.
wouldn't do that.
Who would bet on the Raiders?
I could
I
take.
would, but not for as much as he has rolling.
I could take the Jets, but they're at the Bills.
No,
of course
God,
not.
that's not happening.
I have both Cincinnati and Cleveland available. They're playing
Ooh.
each other. Cincinnati's at home. However, the Browns have beaten the Bengals 4 of the last 5 times.
I know,
they've
but
played.
Cincinnati's rolling pretty good. I think they're 8-4
But is
now.
this
Joe
not the
Burrow looks
proverbial
great.
Bad matchup.
Yeah, and then Deshaun could be
Browns
good.
always
Divisional
beat
game,
them.
yeah, all that.
Okay, so nothing there. Take Minnesota on the road at Detroit.
No, Detroit's been playing pretty good. They're 5-7.
I agree. I could take Pittsburgh at home against Baltimore,
No
who
way.
might be playing a backup
Yeah,
quarterback.
no way. No. That's a no.
Carolina.
No, I don't even need to know who
They
they're
play
playing.
Seattle. That's
They have a bye.
Yeah.
And then here's the other one that I think you could maybe talk me into.
Okay.
San Francisco at home against Tampa Bay.
No.
They have
No.
a lights-out
Absolutely
defense.
not.
I wouldn't do it.
Absolutely.
I
And
bet
it's
Tennessee.
Mr. Irrelevant is playing quarterback. No.
Not a Brock Purdy guy.
I mean, who knows if they're a Brock Purdy guy or not at this point? He's played,
You guys think that the Rams jumped on
Oh,
Baker
yes, I do.
Mayfield
I was gonna
just to stick it to the
I
Niners?
think I love the pettiness of it. I would love to know if that's what it is. There's only one experienced quarterback available. Granted, not very good, but if you want somebody who's done it,
There's no way they were taking him.
no way. Who?
Yeah, didn't Shanahan come out and say he didn't want him?
He said he did not see that happening, is I believe how he phrased it.
Right.
I don't think they were taking him.
Is he not better
You think
than
they
Brock
could
Purdy?
do worse than for a backup quarterback?
Because Purdy is a guy that's been in their system and knows what they do. They don't need great quarterback play to win games. All they need is somebody to not be a negative.
Right, don't
Baker
lose a game.
could be a negative. They have a great defense.
Yeah, he could be. You're right.
So you're talking me into taking him over the Bucks?
Nope.
Or just
No, I would go
with Tennessee.
I go Cincinnati. I take Bengals over the
Bengals
Cleveland.
over Browns or Tennessee.
I'll tell you why you
the
can't
last
take
5 to the
Cincinnati
Browns.
because you don't have a good feeling about it.
Well, and they lose. The
Yeah.
Browns are not as good as the Bengals,
Yeah.
but it's that weird thing. Even when the Rams were terrible,
right?
They would always give the Seahawks a hard time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Seahawks
it's true.
are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Rams would always give them a hard time, and it looks like an easy one, but it feels bad. It feels bad.
Yeah, I say
Slim
Tennessee's the
pickings.
bet.
All right,
Tennessee's
good.
the guy.
Makes me feel a little
That's the
bit
team
better.
to go with.
I might go with the Raiders.
Oh God!
Well,
no.
I don't hate
By the way,
it.
that's not. I don't hate it.
I
You
don't hate
heard
it.
most of the Rams are out for tomorrow night.
You're picking against the Rams, is what you're doing, right? It's
Right.
not that you're picking the
Is
Raiders.
it point spread or just win?
No, just
win. They won 3 in a row now, and I'm not saying that all of a sudden you jump on a Raiders bandwagon. Rams don't have anybody.
The Raiders
They're not
should
playing
be
Literally
anybody.
going to be a home game for the Raiders.
The
They're
Raiders
not
should be
playing
10-point favorites in this game. Do you heard? I don't know if you heard, but all the guys that are not playing for the Rams,
Yeah, it should
it's unbelievable. It's like he
47
read off
guys.
8 or 9 guys that
It's
just
basically
aren't
a
playing.
preseason game.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a
with a bunch of guys from the practice squad.
It's so Raiders.
Nope. Tennessee.
Why are you so no?
Because the Raiders. Well, I mean, Momo, you know why? Because the Raiders screw it up exactly when you don't expect them
that's
to
why
screw
they
it
do
up.
it.
Yeah.
But
Good answer.
I do feel pretty good. I put in my confidence pool. I put 16 on the Raiders last week and I won.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
16 last week, huh?
Yeah.
Against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Against the
That's-
Chargers,
yeah.
that was your
That
highest
seems
level
aggressive.
of confidence.
That's
Yep.
surprising.
That's a lot.
I thought the Chargers had fallen off, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a home game. They're gonna win. They win."
Wow. Yeah.
And they won barely.
Yeah, I'm not.
They won.
Given the wild inconsistency in the Raiders,
Yeah,
I would
Don't-
not put anything on them.
I don't love betting on Ryan Tannehill. That doesn't feel
But you're also
good.
betting on a team that's lost 2 in a row and kind of got smoked. But
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, cross my. I'm going to lose. It's gonna be in the playoffs.
The fact that it's
Big
still
playoff
going
team.
6
why are
weeks
you
in a
asking
row.
us? You're the one who's actually alive.
Right,
on
and
this
by the
thing.
way,
I like
I
to
never.
like I'm always out in the first
I like
couple
to
weeks.
crowdsource.
I never try to talk anybody out of their eliminator pool pick
Yeah.
because there's always the
You gotta
option.
live with it.
I was going to take that, but you told me to take.
Yeah, I know.
I've changed
exactly.
my mind once this year.
Yeah.
I changed my mind once. My son Michael, I go through. I crowdsource everybody. On
Yeah,
this.
right.
So, and he's a football fan, and I forget who I was taking. He goes, "Do not take that team. Do not take. Switch it to."
Yeah.
I think he'd switch me to the Giants, and he's like, "You have to take the Giants. You have to take the Giants."
Was he
And
right?
it worked?
It worked, and the team that I was going to take lost.
Wow.
How early was that?
Wow.
How
Somebody
early
gets a
was that?
vibe.
Like 4 weeks ago.
It's like Mason's
Oh, 4
Correa
weeks ago,
dream.
okay.
Yeah. Does
Yeah.
he get a chunk of the eliminator
Yeah, he gets
pool?
a roof over his head.
Yeah.
He gets 3 hots
All
a day.
right. So
Nice.
I know that you've kind of boycotted the group text because of Alan's green bubble and
Yeah.
all that.
Yes.
But I did send you something a couple minutes ago
Oh.
that I'm pretty proud of.
It's great.
Pretty proud of this.
It's great.
And he was actually very happy to do this, but I couldn't deliver him in person. But Alan's fanboy crush is here.
Yes.
In town.
Yes.
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Yep.
He's here in the building in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I was trying to walk him across, but he had stuff to do over at the other building.
He's a busy man.
But I said, "Hey, my friend Alan, he's a huge fan of yours. It would really mean a lot if you could if you could say hello to him or something."
You basically had him do a cameo.
I
right?
basically had him do a cameo. And I didn't know what he was going to say. I thought he was just going to say, "Hi, Alan," you know? But he
Hi,
said
Alan, I'm busy.
But he said so much more, and it's really good.
It's great.
I mean, this is going to make your life. I was heartened to hear this.
By the way,
hey,
first,
Alan, Ramona told me about your remarkable rise from sales guy in LA to daily talk show host. Congratulations on all your success, man. Have a great holiday season. Look forward to seeing you down the road this season.
Come on.
Oh,
That's
really
close.
good.
Come on.
Really good.
Come on.
The
That is
meteoric
so good.
rise.
Your meteoric rise.
Ramona, you're awesome. You're awesome. That's very cool.
And there's a
That's
video.
very cool.
Now, you can't post a video on social media.
Okay. I
Okay?
won't post it. Yeah.
That was the deal.
I don't
He
think
said,
I
can
can
we
get-
play this on air? He said, yeah.
Yeah.
But social media, not the video.
Well, I don't
That's
even think
just
I
for
can get
you.
it because nobody's going to text me now because I'm
No, you're in the
Google
group
Pixel.
text.
Yeah.
You're in the group text.
Now
How does that
you're-
make you feel, man?
That's awesome. And the fact that you actually did that
Yeah.
and told Woj, hey, can you do this for me? You're awesome.
What,
That's
what
very,
do you
very
do
cool.
with it going forward? You said can't post it on social
Mhm.
per the agreement. But what do you daily ringtone? Like,
No,
is it your,
I
is it,
just-
is it your alarm clock in the morning?
I simply just tell people Woj and I are like as close as you can get. So
Yeah,
when
listen to this.
when Woj drops something, when he drops one of his Woj bombs, I say, "Yeah, guys, it's not that big of a
my
deal."
guy.
I mean, that's Woj and I. You know, the
You're
guy
the
has a
source.
video tribute.
Yeah,
That's my guy.
awesome.
You
Woj.
can say, that's my guy. Well, he said. First he kind of wanted to know like who you were and are you kind of weird or something? You know?
Yeah.
And like,
Yes,
is
you
it,
told
like,
him
what's
yes,
the weird?
right? Yeah.
And I said, I didn't know. He's like a grinder. You know, like. He's a grinder, so like that's why somebody would be a Woj fanboy because Woj is a grinder.
So Woj
You know?
is your
Okay, do you know the
Oprah.
story?
Momo's
Yeah.
like this with Oprah.
Listen,
You're
listen.
like this with Woj.
Let me tell a story real quick. Okay, this happened a couple years ago.
Okay,
I didn't know. I just know Woj, but I don't really know much about Woj.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're at the media room, and this was probably, I don't know, could have been maybe 3-4 years ago, whatever it is, in the media room, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not. Is that Adrian Wojnarowski? Oh wow. We've had Kanye walk in. We've had Kim. You know, we've seen all these people walk in. It's like, sounds good. Bathroom's over there, guys.
That was your guy.
Woj walked in, and it was like, that can't be. That's not.
Couldn't
That's
believe
not
your
who I
eyes.
think it is. So to answer your question, kind of the man. I mean, I don't know how.
What is it about Woj? Just he's your
very good
go-to
question.
source
Yeah.
for every. Or is there more than that?
He's the last. If you just said like, hey, there's somebody that breaks and has every insider to the sport that you love most, which is the NBA, and then you kind of started picturing who that person is, what it is. I guess it just kind of shocked me when I first. I'm like, that's Woj. Out of all people,
What
he
did
looks
you
like.
think- what did you think he was gonna
He
look
looks like the most. How do I even describe it? How do I describe it? It's not what I envisioned. That Woj is.
What
He looks
did you
like a
envision?
tax accountant. Like Woj looks like the most normal person in the world. He's not flashing anything. You know, everything was just like so normal. And I'm like, to be that big of a name and he was so low key and normal about it. I like it. I respect it.
Would you think he's going to wear a sandwich board that said Woj bomb? Like, what did you expect?
You can tell certain people. You know, there's certain people that are a little bit more. If somebody had that much clout, then he would. It doesn't feel like it changed him at all, and he's just the same person was, whether he was Woj or not.
So after you did ask Momo today,
Yeah.
did you continue to listen to the show?
A little bit.
Okay, so did you hear the one
so
about
funny.
the setting up the coffee date?
Oh yeah,
without-
that's
okay.
and that's why I texted you.
Perfect.
Oh no, setting up the coffee date. No, I heard the
So-
one about Woj. That's why I texted
The
you.
one about Woj with the
Yeah.
coffee date. That's
Okay.
that's where
Let's
we
leave Woj alone
but
moving
Is
forward.
that what you're trying to do? Is have
No.
a coffee date?
No,
I'm
I
not
think
trying
this
to
is
do
it.
anything.
I think
I'm not
this is
trying
what
to
I
do
can deliver.
anything.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
it.
think-
There's no more.
I think anything else would be kind of weird.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
The setup, Momo, was somebody said like you tried to set up like a not a date, but like a I want to get to know you with Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah, it was weird.
I don't know that story. Tell me that story.
I'll tell it very briefly because
Yeah.
I've told it before.
Tell the abridged version.
The abridged
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'll add a new detail which you've never heard before.
Okay, good.
I don't know what it was about Chelsea. I just
Were you
thought
guys
it
at
was
Stanford at the same time?
Same
Okay.
class.
Okay.
And like when I decided to go to Stanford, that was I was in the LA Daily News and the LA Times. Like, where are you going to go? Right? It was not that I was like some big recruit, but like they used to run those stories.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So and so is committed to whatever. So I called up my buddy. His name is Vinny Bonsignor.
Oh,
Sure.
now
know
writes
Vinny.
for
Okay,
the
he used to
Raiders.
cover me in high school. Okay, that's how far back we go.
Wow.
And I called up Vinny. I go, hey, you've always been really good to me. I want to make sure you have this. Like this is my news.
Scoop.
Right? Scoop. And I told Vinny, I decided I'm going to go to Stanford. And he goes, well, what did it for you? And I go, you want me to be honest? Like Chelsea decided to go to Stanford. So and I go, that was just like the sign, man.
Not Stanford education, not
mean,
quality softball. Chelsea Clinton's
That was
enrolled
part
in
of
school.
it.
Yes.
And it was like I was gonna probably go there anyway, but it was like I just needed that last little thing.
Yep.
So there's actually a headline if you like go on LexisNexis, you could find it. I think I cut it out. Shelburne joins Clinton.
No, really?
That's
That's a real thing in the Daily. Like Vinny really did me a solid.
That's
there.
amazing.
That's terrific.
Okay, so anyway, I was like, I don't know, I thought it was cool. It was like the president's daughter, man. That was really exciting. And the other guy from my high school that was going to Stanford, he got placed into her freshman dorm. And we were like friends, sort of. I mean, we were
Right.
really close. We were friends enough that I could say, hey, let's. He's the only guy I knew there.
Yeah.
So I go over to his dorm, like lunch or dinner or something, and hoping that I might bump into her. Like, it's
It's like a
her
Seinfeld
dorm.
episode.
Yeah.
It's great.
Did
It
you?
never happened. Never even came
when
close.
you try to bump into somebody.
Yeah, I was trying to like have
Yeah.
it be an authentic, not weird, cute meet.
But never happened.
Never happened.
Stanford is not a huge.
No, it's not
enrollment.
that big. I would see your
Yeah.
Secret Service agents always at the coffee house. No,
Was
never
it-
happened with her.
I got a million
Was
questions.
never
I
in a
won't get
class
into
with
this.
her.
Yeah.
Could you
Finally-
not just go over and say, "Hey, I've always just wanted to say hello to you"? Was that
But
an
that
option?
seemed too weird.
Wait a
But you're not
minute.
a weird
And she
person.
wasn't in a
Woj just
position.
did a recording for him.
Yeah.
You telling me you couldn't walk up
He
to
didn't go up to Woj and say it. I did it for him.
Chelsea, Momo Shelburne.
Right.
What's
I'm on
up?
I'm on the softball team. I
was
just
like-
want to introduce myself.
But you can't knock on the door and just.
You can't. And
you
also,
can't do
like,
that.
if
It is
if
very
I was,
stalkery,
if she-
creepery.
If I would have been in the dining hall at the same time, or she's sitting
Yeah,
at
if
the
it
bench,
was set up.
How's the
I
Jell-O?
never saw her.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
You know, I would have just like sat down. Hey, is anyone sitting here? You know, I would have done something weird like that or normal-ish. And then I tried. I had another friend, Jessica Mendoza, was her boyfriend at the time. Lived in the same row house, and they kind of saw each other. They knew each other. It never happened. I tried to meet her that way, and then finally, a friend of mine knew her really well, and I went to a fundraiser for Hillary at this person's house.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea was going to be the headliner. So I was like, okay, this is going to be it. How much do I have to pay? Like, just so I can get in the line. And it was like $5,000. I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
That's a
So
lot
I was like,
of
oh, this is going to hopefully this happens organically. Didn't happen. Like, you really had to pay the $5,000 to meet her there. So I'm like, it's just not meant to be. Like, this is so many times over the years, even after finally, my 15th reunion, we had the class party, and I was on the class panel, so I had sort of a featured role in this. And we bump into each other at the class party, and she goes, "Oh, I was at your class panel today. You did, that was interesting what you said about whatever." So it was kind of like her saying it to me.
Yeah.
Maybe all these years she was trying to get.
By the way, I
She
just
wanted to meet her.
I just want to point out that was the abridged version.
I know.
If you want to hear the unabridged version, listen to the podcast from yesterday's show.
I added in the detail
I
about
know, you
the
added it.
newspaper.
I
That
got
was
longer.
great.
You're right.
That is
That's a good
fantastic.
story, though.
I
It's a good
love
story,
that
sure.
story. And Slee,
15 years
this
later.
is how lucky you are.
Congratulations,
You didn't have
Slee.
to wait 15 years.
And you didn't have to do
got
anything
it.
weird
I
yourself.
literally had to do nothing.
Yeah.
You set it all up. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Momo.
Fantastic.
Good job,
Awesome.
Momo. Good job on Ask Momo, and very good job on that. Mason in Ireland. Momo's in for John. Coming up next.